Goddamn.
Holy shit. Goddamn, may be right.
Oh, it is.
Whoa. Oh my god. Man, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Welcome back to another edition of the Notorious podcast, bro. Welcome back to another edition of your post-show pay-per-view reviews, as this evening we are bringing you guys the review for AEW's All Out, live from Chicago, Illinois. And this is probably the earliest All Out review we've done in
In,
4 years.
oh, 100%. Most definitely.
Man, because usually around this time we would be driving home from the show, but obviously we did not go to the show this year. But wow, did they absolutely turn out a amazing show here tonight. They turned out an absolutely amazing show. I love what they did tonight. Um man, I I have no words, bro. I have absolutely no words, man. That main event was I'm honestly still fucked up over it, bro. That main event was absolutely insane. And I don't even know what to say, and I hope by the time we get to that match here at the end, I hope I have something to say other than wow. And I think I will, but oh my god, that was an absolute AEW classic through and through. But as for the rest of the show, I enjoyed it. I thought a couple matches into the show, it did get a little stale for me. But majority of the show, I did enjoy, and we weren't even sure if we were going to do All Out this year. And I'm glad that I sat down, watched the show, and
Hmm.
actually had a pretty good time doing so, because again, I did enjoy the show a lot, and I thought they turned out a great night of wrestling. Like I said, in the middle there it did get a little stale for me, but other than that, I love tonight's show. I thought they did a great job.
Definitely, man. Definitely. That main event was genuinely insane. Through and through, I love those type of matches. AEW always does phenomenal with those type of matches, and I think they definitely nailed it tonight, man. Main event was insane. It was phenomenal, man. From the rest of the show, it looked good, man. So looked like they had a pretty good night, man. They maybe didn't have a lot going into the show, but Tony Khan, he could put on a good pay-per-view, man. So glad we got one.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, bro. Yeah, like Sir K said, man, he did not he really didn't do much of a job putting together this card, and I thought a lot of it was rushed, and building up to it, I did complain a little bit about certain people not being on the card. I thought that was a little odd to me. I mentioned acts like Ricochet, I mentioned acts like GYV, being that they debuted at All In, yet they're stuck on Collision and Rampage for God knows what reason they're stuck on those shows, but they are stuck on those shows, unfortunately. And I don't know what Tony's doing there. Obviously Ricochet, you know um we did get some sort of direction for him, so I guess I can't really complain about that one all that much. But um otherwise, man, yeah, I thought they turned out a really good show. I thought they turned out a really good show, and we have a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. We have a lot of interesting stuff to talk about when we get towards to the end of the show. Because the end of the show, and this is what I love about this year's All Out show, is the end of the show was AEW, whilst turning out good matches, they were also setting up stories and kind of bathing us in story a little bit as we got to the end of the as we got to the end of the show. I felt very I felt I my storyline itch was definitely scratched towards the end of the show, no question.
Definitely, I think they did even a good job with that tonight. There was a lot of good storytelling at the end of tonight's show, man. And through and through, they did really good tonight, all out. Really glad that we're here reviewing it, man, because it's definitely worth the review.
Yeah, absolutely, bro, absolutely. So, anyways, man, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of NHP. Welcome back to another post show review. And yeah, man, welcome back, guys, to another episode of, like I said, our AEW post show reviews, man. As thank you guys for coming back, as always, man. And yeah, bro, always glad to have you guys. So, what is going on, everybody? And like I said, if this is welcome back, and if this is your first time watching, and you guys do not know how the show works, every Monday after Monday Night Raw, we are on here with Unscripted. Every Friday at 4 p.m. Central, we are on here with the news and for the pay-per-views for both WWE and AEW. We will be live directly after the show goes off the air with the official post-show review, man. If you guys did miss yesterday's edition of the news, that is Odyssey Jones fired from WWE, All Out predictions, and CM Punk and Gunther planned for SummerSlam, or I pulled a Sir K. CM Punk and Gunther
Oh, good.
planned for Survivor Series. If you guys did miss episode 230 of the news, it's not available for you guys yet. I should have that as well as this All Out review. As you guys know, as always, I should have those available for you guys either tomorrow or early Monday. So those will be available on all platforms for you guys shortly. But if you guys do want to find us on all platforms, that is Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts. And if you want to see it first, join us right here live every single Friday at 4 p.m. Central for the news, man. So yeah, man, with that, if you guys have not got a chance to pick up some of the official NHP merchandise, you guys can get the new piece of merch to commemorate the rebrand of the podcast, where you guys can pick up the next chapter design as you see on your screen. Like I said, to go along with the rebrand of the podcast, I was sporting mine on yesterday's edition of the news, and it is a beautiful, beautiful piece of merchandise, man. So if you guys haven't got a chance to pick it up, that is available for you guys on bonfire.com. Link is at the top of the description of this very video, man. Also, if this is your first time watching and you all do not know who we are here at NHP, I am Johnny, one half of the host of this very show. And as for the other half, we got my man Sir K here. How are you, bro?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. Just been chilling out, man. From good weekend to good weekend to another fine weekend, man. So, been having a good streak, man. Hopefully that keeps up. But everything's been good, man. Everything's been good. Just been chilling out like normal, man. Been chilling out like normal. Um, yeah, like Durante always asks, how's life? How's the family? Life's good. Family's good. How's everybody doing in the live chat? Durante, naysayers, what's up, man? How you doing? Um, anyone in the rewatch? Anyone rewatching? And what about you, man? How are you doing?
I'm doing just dandy, bro. I'm doing just dandy, man. Just chilling, bro. Just chilling. Yeah, just had a pretty chill day. Had a pretty chill day, man. And then just obviously, you know, just getting everything together for myself for next weekend, and um, then after that, then we start the countdown to Bad Blood, which, if you guys do not
Yeah.
know, that is the next time we will be live for the post show review is WWE Bad Blood, October 5th. Um After the show goes off the air, so we'll be live after that. But other than that, man, I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right, man. Doing good. And with that, as Durante always asks, I'm good. Family's good. What about you, Durante? Naysayers, Logan Bell, whether you guys are here now, of course those two are late or absent. Of course they are. But
Never fails.
it doesn't, man. It doesn't. But yes, Logan Bell, Durante, Naysayers, whether you guys are here now or part of the Replay Mafia, man, my guys JT and JB, How are you guys doing, man? And thank you guys for joining us as always, bro. Um, yeah, man. I thought that I thought tonight's All Out show was I thought tonight's All Out show was very good. I thought it was very good. I thought AEW exceeded. I thought they exceeded the expectation around the show, because a lot of times with AEW shows, no, I mean this is nothing new. It happens a lot because a lot of times we go into it, um, sometimes, if it's not one of their big cards, or sometimes even if it is one of their big pay per views, they go into it and put a bunch of randomness on there, and then we end up getting pretty good card. Like if I could think back to Double or Nothing, that one was a pretty like what the hell is this card, but it actually ended up being a pretty good show. And aside from a couple things on this show, this was pretty much the same thing. This was very similar to Double or Nothing. I think overall, I think this was better than Double or Nothing, but it was very similar in that aspect of they put a lot of randomness on there, and they put a lot of stuff on there that you're just looking at like what. But it actually
Hmm.
ends up turning out being a really good show.
Definitely took that path of, while it's being made, you're like, what the fuck is this going on, man? But once it happens, you're like, damn, that was a good ass show, and they delivered with that, man. So no matter what the setup was, they delivered a pretty good fucking show.
Yeah, man, absolutely, absolutely. I thought yeah, I thought it was a very good show. I thought it was a very good show, man. So you know, Tony Khan, they call him the king of pay per view, and I would like to retract that statement. And I say this all the time. I would like to retract that statement because one of the things that Tony needs to work on is getting us to care about the pay per view. Because tonight
Hmm.
he turned out a great show, but what he's got to work on is the weekly television, because the weekly television and the build to the pay per view is just as important, if not more important, than the pay per view itself. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
Tony's obviously got to work on that aspect of the pay per view. As he's great at the pay per view, he's got to work on the pay per view build. You know what I mean? We got to work on that.
Exactly.
We
You,
got to work on
you
that with
focus on
him.
the build,
What
and you'll
was
have
it?
more people not only watching but in the crowd. You could have this show, but with a full crowd, and it would have made it even better.
Absolutely, absolutely. Which I think, well, they did go to the Now Arena, so I mean that's kind of that
Yeah.
is what it is. But I believe they sold around 8,000, which
Hmm.
isn't horrible, being that the building holds a little over 10. Um, it's
Yeah, that ain't
not,
too bad.
yeah, it's not horrible, but he definitely could have sold it out because if I mean even if you look at like All Out 2021, we went to their Dynamite before the show, and the Dynamite
Hmm.
was packed. The Dynamite
Yeah,
before All Out was packed.
it
It
was.
was obviously it wasn't being as taken as seriously as All Out itself, but it was a pretty packed house. You look at those collision, you look at that collision from yesterday in the Now Arena, the collision
Oh,
before All Out, dude. I seen a clip of Nick Jackson doing a backflip, and they kind of put the camera on the hard cam side, and when I tell you there wasn't a soul in sight, I mean it. I mean, there was nobody. There was nobody within miles of where that camera was shooting, bro. I mean, it was pretty insane. So, obviously that's one thing Tony's got to work on. Again, the pay-per-views can always be great, and they always are great, but Tony, you gotta turn out the build. But hopefully we can ride the wave of All Out, and we can ride the wave of what he just produced in terms of the stories coming out of the show, and hopefully we could turn that into some good stuff, man. But we'll just have to wait and see and hope for the best on that one.
definitely, man. Uh, l- hopefully things can work out, a little better next time with, that aspect of it. building up your television, and especially shows like Collision. But definitely is going to take some time.
For sure. So the show had a couple. The show had a couple of pre-show matches that were not watched. Go figure. These
No
pre-show
way.
matches were not watched, and I'm about to read them to you guys so you guys can understand why nobody is watching these pre-show matches. So the first one was the Acclaimed versus Iron Savages. They beat them in 8 minutes. Okay. The next one was the Premier Athletes.
Oh God.
Tony Nese, Ari Davari, and Josh Woods versus Sammy Guevara, Dustin Rhodes, and Hologram.
Fuck.
Hologram, Sammy, and Dustin picked up the win. And the next match was the Bang Bang Gang defeating the Dark Order. I didn't, I, man.
What did it say, bro?
And the last one was,
Goddamn
the,
four.
yeah, the Undisputed Kingdom. Oh, there was a 2 hour pre-show on this one as well. I
Oh,
don't know
of
why.
course.
The Undisputed Kingdom, Matt Taven, Mike Bennett, and Roderick Strong defeated Shane Taylor Promotions, Shane Taylor and Lee Moriarty, Lee Moriarty, and the Beast Mordos. And then they beat Action Andretti and Top Flight. I did, and apparently Action Andretti and Top Flight were with Layla Gray, according to this. I don't know if she's managing them. I didn't even know Action Andretti was still employed with the company. And
Right.
yet again, let alone still with Top Flight. I mean, so
Oh, literally. I thought, Tony had gave him his moment. It hit at the time he got signed. Like Tony didn't follow up. Dude's just like fucking nobody on the roster now.
man. So
Crazy.
the Undisputed Kingdom beat my favorite trio in AEW: Shane Taylor, Lee Moriarty, and the Beast Mordos. What is that?
Oh, good Lord.
All right. Well, anyways, that was the pre-show. Other than that, on the pre-show, I know we seen Sky Blue. We seen Sky Blue on the pre-show. We seen Mariah May, and we seen the Costco guys on the pre-show. We seen the Costco guys. We seen the two normal guys that are normally on the channel or on their page or whatever. We did not fucking see the Rizzler.
Where was the Rizzler? Why was he not at the show?
That
What
was
the
like
fuck?
the whole fucking point
Go.
to the Costco guys showing up at All Out. I wanted to see the fucking Rizzler do the Riz face on All Out.
I needed it, dude.
I don't know. Kind of
Yeah.
bullshit. Kind of bullshit, man.
Exactly.
But
Bullshit. Yes.
I wanted to see him, but I don't know. I guess he did. He guess he didn't make the show. Maybe he's going to WWE instead. But yeah, fair man, missed opportunity there. Missed opportunity there. So they were doing their shtick on the All Out pre-show. So that was that. I'm glad they didn't incorporate them in the actual show.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Glad
glad.
it was just a show.
Exact same. I'm glad they were just kind of a segment on the pre-show. Um, so yeah, I mean that was that. It was harmless, so it was what it was, and yeah, they got to sit front row, and I sure as hell hope they were not sitting in the front row for the main event because yikes. Naysayers says whatever happened to the Big Show on commentary. Um,
No, he was. Huh.
his show got canceled. He was on AEW Dark Elevation, and
Oh
then
yeah.
they canceled. They brought him in to be a commentator for Dark Elevation, and then Tony brought him in to do in-ring stuff. He was actually just doing an interview talking about how he wants to do a Captain Insano singles run. And then he also was talking about how Tony paid him a big bag of money to do in-ring stuff, and he hasn't, and he even kind of poked fun at the fact that he hasn't fucking done anything yet. Um, so that's I don't know. I guess they think it's all funny that they're squirming Tony Khan, squeezing the fucking poor guy out of all of his money. But yeah, I mean,
Kind of let it happen. Couldn't be me. Shit, get your ass out of here.
man, man.
Yeah, hate me. Shit.
So, the little stuff on the show, we did not really see any debuts. No debuts on the show. No debuts on the show. So very similar. So well, at least similar in that regard to Bash in Berlin. We didn't really see any
Mm.
debuts on the show. And that was yeah, so nothing crazy. I know everybody. I heard all the rumors about people expecting Shane. No, Shane wasn't there. But after what happened tonight, it is getting things are heating up, and we'll definitely touch on that when we get to it, bro. But no Shane, it's not Shane. Um,
It's not shit.
the one thing I did not like from AEW All Out this year, and I haven't liked this about a lot of the AEW shows, and I get it's more expensive or whatever, but last year they had a really cool stage at the United
Mm.
Center. The stage was basically video boards set up to look like a Chicago elevated subway.
It was sick.
It was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. This week or this year rather, we just got the regular Dynamite stage, which is a nice stage. I love the stage
Fine
for
stage,
Dynamite,
but it's
but
pay per view.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Definitely, man. So I don't know. I was expecting a little bit something like that, especially because they kind of went with the elevated subway system again this year, kind of, at least for some of the graphics that they played for it. But we didn't end up getting it, bro. So that was one thing that I did not like. I wish we would have got a little bit more of an elaborate stage. I wish we would have got a nicer looking stage. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. So yeah.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Could always do better. I always prefer some type of something on a stage. So sucks we didn't get it.
WWE's got the pass because they actually sell out the arenas, so they got to, and
No, I don't get the pass.
they do. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean Triple H is right. He would. What were you
To
saying?
me, it's not about the size. Just do something for each one. Just add a little something to each one. It's not even the size. I like the size. To me, it's the cheapness from TKO. They make a lot of things cheap, and I think stages are one of the things.
Whenever they do a WrestleMania, I think the WrestleMania
Yeah.
stage this year was a little mid, but honestly, for like the Bash in Berlin, like how they do that tunnel setup, to me, they get
I
the
don't
pass
mind
because
it.
they sell out the arena. I would and Triple H is right. I would rather display the fans than the technology. But
Yeah,
in AEW's case, they actually have room to set up a stage, and they
they got
don't.
a lot of room.
Yeah, they could fucking set up one whole half of the arena as the stage if they wanted to, but
Literally.
but I don't know, man. I don't know. I would like a little bit more elaborate stages because in the beginning stages of AEW, I feel like we always got something cool. Like we got,
Oh yeah.
the gears for Full Gear, or we got big casino props for Double or Nothing, or um
Jay, we just got cool shit.
yeah, definitely, man, definitely. Or Revolution was a little more of like high tech. They had like they like they had like the video boards everywhere. It just looked super futuristic. You know what I mean? I
Hmm.
like that. I like the themes to it, and I wish they would come back. And actually, speaking of WWE and stages, we actually have some very interesting news to cover with you guys come Friday, bro. But um good news, bro. Very good news. Um, so with that, anyways, man, moving on here to the start of the show. We got The opening match on this All Out card was MJF versus Daniel Garcia. That was the open to the show. That was the open to the show. There we go. All right. Okay. Okay. So, yes, we got MJF and Daniel Garcia on the show here. As we got MJF and Daniel Garcia on the show here, man. Opening the show. So the show opened up with an MJF very devil-like piano, very devil-like piano type vignette. So it was basically the devil violin noise. The devil violin noise basically played behind the video package to him and Daniel Garcia's feud. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, this guy should, at this point, you might as well just fucking bring the devil mask back, because
We might as well revert to everything else.
exactly. I mean, everything else has been reverted back to the way it used to be. So I'm watching this vignette plan, and I'm like, man, this guy he's doing the devil character again. That's basically what it is. He's just a sadistic asshole. He doesn't care about anybody's well-being. He's willing to do whatever it takes to hold on to, well, I guess, and that then it was hold on to his gold. I guess now it would just be to win. But very cool, man. Very cool. And MJF, yeah, very cool vignette. And WWE, or what? WWE, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, bro. I don't know why I said that. MJF, I don't know why, different 3-letter word. MJF comes out, does his whole entrance. He kneels down in the ring, and there is a giant banner that comes down that says, "Thank me later." So that is the, I guess, the replacement for his American citizenship. That is a replacement for, his American citizenship and whatnot being revoked, is that "Thank me later" banner instead. Daniel Garcia comes out in the beginning of the match, and he attacks MJF, gets an early start on him, and he comes out wearing a head wrap to cover his wound. Very early on in the match, MJF rips the head wrap off and starts biting Daniel Garcia's cut. He starts biting the open wound. While MJF's getting some offense on Garcia, he takes him to the top rope to complete the off the top rope pile driver that he originally did to take him out of action. And Daniel Garcia counters. He counters with a tilt-a-whirl DDT off the top rope. He counters with the DDT. Garcia then tries to get some offense a little bit later in the match, and he cannot lift MJF because of the selling of the neck. He's selling his neck, as obviously, MJF, pile drive bro off the top rope. As he is, taking time to recover, I guess, from his injury, as he's taking time to recover from it, MJF get some offense in, and hits him with a Panama Sunrise. A little bit later, MJF would start slapping Daniel Garcia, which would start firing him up. They would trade in some offense, which led to MJF giving Daniel Garcia a German suplex that he no-sold, which then led Garcia to hitting a German suplex. And then a little bit later, Garcia were to get MJF in the sharpshooter, which would then be countered into an armbar. He would go for the salt of the earth, but then he would then counter it into some different variation of a almost like a Rings of Saturn, but with his legs. Look good. It looked good. Garcia breaks. These guys would then get into a strike fest, chops, slaps, punches, all that good stuff. Garcia would get MJF. Garcia would hit MJF with a clubbing forearm, hit him with get him in a front chancery, um, and the ref grabbed MJF's arm to see if he was out, and he lifts his arm up. And at this point, when he had his arm lifted up, MJF's arm went to drop. Daniel Garcia held MJF's arm up because he didn't want the match to end, which, obviously would end up coming to his detriment. But he doesn't let the hands down, and Garcia gives MJF a regular pile driver in the middle of the ring. MJF kicks out. Garcia then goes to bring MJF to the top rope. He gets MJF on the top rope, and he's going for the pile driver off the top as MJF kind of finds his way down. Bryce is standing in the corner like a buffoon. He ends up getting kind of getting nudged in the face, so he was a little kind of flabbergasted that he kind of got muffed a little bit. And while he wasn't looking, MJF hit Garcia with a low blow. He would go for a jackknife cover, and he would secure the victory in a roll-up or a jackknife cover to defeat Daniel Garcia here in the opening match to All Out Man. As afterwards, MJF would then go to shake his hand. Garcia would shake his hand, and then MJF would go to low blow Garcia. Garcia would grab his leg, low blow MJF, and then Garcia would end up giving him the pile driver off the top rope, getting the moral victory in this one.
Interesting, man. Interesting. Pretty solid open. Like what they did here. Story part's a little interesting. I don't know. If I would have gone with MJF winning, but they did. Makes sense after I think it was Logan that mentioned it. Probably you probably wouldn't, lose pay-per-views back to back.
Mm-hmm.
So, that does make sense. But I still probably would have had Garcia win. That's just me. But overall, I think they did good in the open. I think they told a pretty solid story in the match, and I'm very intrigued to see this more than likely for looking to me to continue.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I thought, yeah, man. Like I said, I thought they put on a really good match. I thought they put on a really good match here in the open, and obviously, the people do get the people do get very fired up at MJF. So it was a good way. It was a good way to start the show. Like I said,
Mhm.
starting off hot, starting off with a hot start, and then yeah, I guess just yeah, MJF, just being MJF and putting on very solid work as he always does. As yeah, that was the open to the show. As now with MJF being out or with MJF getting the pile driver, I do not know if this is going to be a little bit of a break for him. I don't know if this is going to be a little bit of um I don't know if maybe he's going to be out for a little bit. I don't know if he's going to be out for a little bit with just, I guess, recovering from Daniel Garcia pile driving him. And then maybe they're going to pick this up when we get towards something else. But, um, but, um, that's a good point, Logan. That's a very good point. Logan
That
says
is,
maybe MJF won because Garcia did not sign with AEW. Um, that
man can only hope.
Yeah, that could that could very well be the case. That could very well be the case. Because if his contract is up next month, maybe they do another one at Grand Slam, and if Garcia hasn't re-signed, maybe MJF puts him down for good at all
Yeah.
or not all out Grand Slam. Maybe Grand
Yeah.
Slam. I could very well see something like that happening. Like I said, where maybe he takes him out of action. But otherwise, man, I thought this was a very good open. Like I said, MJF's obviously a popular character, bro. So everybody, he's obviously going to attract a lot of heat, and I'm very glad that they started the show with a match that people care about. Because for the longest time, especially earlier this year, we had to wait till the last three matches to see the only three things on the show that anybody wanted to see in the first place. So so
Exactly. Glad they spaced it out a little better.
For sure. For sure. But yeah, I thought this was a good open. I thought this was a good choice to open the show. And yeah, man. So that was the open to All Out. As like I said, I'm interested to see where this goes. I'm interested to see where exactly MJF is going to fit into this now, as he's been dropped on his head twice within the span of 2 weeks. So I don't know what this is going to be for him. Maybe he's going. Maybe he's gonna, be knocked around in the head so much he's gonna revert back to the character he should have never reverted from. I don't know what
I
this
hope
is.
so.
Yeah, I don't know what this is gonna lead to, but yeah, this was the this was the open to All Out, man, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it thoroughly, man. And I like how MJF got the actual victory, but Garcia ended up getting the moral victory. So it definitely opens the door for at least one more match if Garcia hasn't signed.
Exactly, and it's a good way to balance out, the win or the loss to, getting some type of one-up man, like how they did it. And Garcia's contract, status makes this little feud a good amount more interesting, man. So
Yeah.
it's been interesting. I'm very curious to see how it goes, because how it goes will probably be how, the contract status goes. So we'll see that in real time, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. For sure, man. So that was the opening match to All Out, and the second match on the card was for the AEW World Tag Team Championships, man, as the Young Bucks faced Wheeler Yuta and Claudio Castagnoli. This match was fun. This match was fun. I enjoyed it. It was feudless. There was
Yeah.
really no reason to get invested in it, but at face value, I did enjoy it. I actually thought Claudio and the Bucks, as well as Yuta, worked very well together, which we know this. We've seen these guys, compete together against each other before. We've seen it. So, we know that we knew this was going to be good, okay? We knew this was going to be good stuff, and uh yeah, I mean the match was good, man. It was good. Like I said, it was just feudless. You know what I mean? It was, there's really nothing between these two teams that's really going to jump off the page, you know what I mean? We're not in 2023, Blackpool Combat Club versus the Elite anymore.
Yeah.
So, I mean we're past that stage. So I mean at this stage of the game, there's really nothing here. The Bucks have had it's absolutely insane to me that they are as a tag team having one of the best runs out of all the tag teams in the business this year. And that is sad, because their run has just been directionless and feudless, careless. Direction Did I already say directionless? Well, I was at directionless like for the third time. Just bad run, man.
It was a bad run, man, and it was a decent pay-per-view match. I mean, it did its job,
Yeah.
obviously. It's Young Bucks, it's Claudio, it's Yuta. They're all gonna put on a good fucking match. It would just be nice to, have a feud building up to a good fucking match. So it is what it is. It did its job, man, and that's really all it did. It's get us to it's gonna get us, through this pay-per-view, and it's gonna be really interesting, after this pay-per-view for certain things. But we'll get to that when we get to that, man. But
Yeah.
it was pretty solid. It was fine.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, so like I said, it was fun. It was fun. We just kind of got a bunch of back and forth, just the opposing styles and the opposing offenses. Obviously very strike heavy, mixed with Claudio's athleticism from BCC, and then from the Bucks side of things. More of just amazing Young Bucks offense. And like I said, it did merge really well with Claudio and Yuta. And they made for a really good match. It made for a really good match. So Claudio or sorry, Matt Jackson was going. It looked like he was going for like a top rope Frankensteiner on Wheeler Yuta, and he was kind of standing on the top rope behind him. This man Claudio puts one foot on either the middle or the bottom rope. They shot it horribly. It was either the middle or the bottom rope, and springed all the way up to Matt Jackson to hit him with a European uppercut. It looked beautiful. It literally looked like he floated. It looked like he floated. It looked really good. So he hits Matt with a European uppercut. He superplexes Matt Jackson. Wheeler Yuta then goes for a splash after the superplex. Yuta goes for the splash, and Matt gets his knees up, and this look this look man, this look just bad. Wheeler, dude, when Matt got his knees up, it looked like he smacked that man Yuta right in his chin with his
Oh,
knees, and he then rolled up Yuta. He rolled up Yuta, and then Nick grabbed Claudio's legs and stopped Claudio from breaking up the pin as Nick Jackson rolls up. Nick Jackson rolls up Wheeler Yuta to pick up the victory here. And like I said, it was a very fun match. It was, and I did enjoy the match. I thought it was a lot of fun. But the thing here is, man, it's just the Bucks and their current their current heel situation is, and it's crazy to me, dude, because it started off so good. It like
oh, it did.
it's like the evil EVP stuff with the Young Bucks started off so good, and it was a lot of fun. But it was just something I swear to you, man, it was something after they aired that all in footage. I don't know what, just the heat in this gimmick, the heat behind this the storyline. I don't know if Tony, got mad and took it out on them. I don't know if they felt a little drained after the whole footage situation. I don't know what the problem is, but again, for this run to start off so good, either that or it's just typical AEW just dropping the ball because Tony had talent come to him with a good idea and he absolutely has no idea what to do with all of it, so he just
Mm.
ends up doing whatever with it. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Like I said, it started off so good, and it started off just as a really good run for the Young Bucks, and don't I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened because now again we're here in September. We're here in September, man, and their gimmick and their shtick just has nothing behind it.
No, exactly. It has nothing. Um, they didn't do anything with the gimmick. Eventually, it got to a point where the story was, hey, we need more power in the company, so we're going to do these things to get it. They did the things, but then each time after they got the thing, they still said they had no power or they didn't have enough power and they were getting overruled still. And I think it's just a fact of Tony Khan just not writing the story right. I just think he saw a cool idea, went with it, and like always, didn't know how to follow it up, man. And I think that's all it was. He failed to follow up. He failed to continue to keeping, the heat relevant, and it just died off. And the heat's completely dead, man. And at the time, this whole heel turn storyline thing got to a point where at first really hated it because we basically just got the elite back as like together as a whole, and then very soon after they just turn them heel again, and split them up again, and then it got to a point where I was like, okay, it was worth it. Look what they're putting on TV. They have this great EVP power hungry type thing, and now it gets to the point where I'm kind of regretting they did it again because they ended up having a good idea, trying it, and just they flopped it, man. And it's fortunate to see, from basically everyone but Hangman's side of the whole big turns that they
Hmm.
all had. I think elite EVP stuff is pointless, dude. It has no heat. It's not believable because they don't make it believable,
Yep.
and I think it's just fucking. it's just cold, man. It's just completely cold.
No, you're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right. Like, yeah, like you said, man, it did the case just went cold. It really did,
Hmm.
and it just and it sucked because in the beginning, like like I said, man, this was something that was just very cool. It was very cool, man, and I don't know how you take a concept like the elite having power and you do the ultimate disservice by appointing yourself back in charge as Tony Khan is back and he's running the show. And who does he have with him? Christopher fucking Daniels. Those are two characters that nobody cares about. You know what I
No,
mean? Nobody cares to see Tony Khan as an on-screen character. We
God,
all,
no.
we all, I mean, for the
Like,
most part, we all love Tony, right? He
yeah,
gave us AEW. He's gave us a lot of special, great moments. I'm sorry, Tony. We love you. We don't care about you as an on-screen character. Christopher Daniels, I've almost never cared about as an on-screen character. No disrespect, no disrespect,
especially this
but
version.
it's as especially as an authority figure. Nobody cares about this, and you decide to do the ultimate disservice to the elite storyline to make yourself feel more legitimate.
Like, like Christopher Daniels is literally the definition of a fucking 2017 WWE GM. Just someone that's just there to get bitched by the talent for
Yep, not
storyline.
taken seriously, bro. The Young Bucks literally whooped his ass to get blood and guts rights, to get the rights to for blood and guts, and they whooped bro's ass in the backstage area and nothing happened to them.
Literally, it makes no fucking sense to like who's in charge, who's not, how does this work? Never were consistent, and I think they just flopped it.
See, now again, I'm not necessarily the guy to, say "Oh, I want Shane in AEW, but at the very least, if you were to bring Shane in with any some sort of purpose, at least he could at least you could imagine the Young Bucks have had full control of AEW since Anarchy in the Arena. At
Mhm,
least it would have made a little bit more sense to maybe bring Shane in and say, look, I had to step in because I'm a former commissioner and I know
mhm.
what you guys are doing is not right. But again, with these rumors of making Shane the GM of Rampage and Collision, you might as well not bring him in.
Paging collision.
I don't know if you
Get
heard
the
those
fuck
rumors,
out of
but
here. No, I haven't. That is fucking god awful. Yeah, give me two shows that no one gives a
nobody
fuck
get.
about. What can I do? Like, it's not a booking problem. I mean, it is a booking problem with those two shows, but it's also like a time slot problem, a
Yep.
general talent problem. It's more than just the week to week fucking matches that you put on. It's a whole lot of everything else that you need to change about them. Both of those, if anything, get rid of the one, put the other, or keep the other on Friday. And dedicate a roster to it. If Shane ain't doing none of that, it's pointless.
Dude, and again, I'm the last guy, and I mean you guys have know. You guys know I've been the last guy to sit there and say, well, AEW needs to bring in Shane, but it would have at least made a little more sense out of it if, again, the Young Bucks are running rampant. Tony Khan has not been backstage since the Elite beat him up. He could still be backstage, but again, Tony, nobody needs to know that you're back there. You know what I mean, dude? You could, I mean, like
Just don't say you're not back there on television. That's all you need to do.
again, and if you can't help yourself, just say, Tony Khan, Tony Khan is only going to be on the big pay-per-view media scrums to do AEW media because the Young Bucks forbid him from coming, into the gorilla position, or that,
Whatever.
yeah, something like that. I mean, if he really can't help himself from doing media scrums, make sense out of it some way. But then again, you could have had him, or you could have had Shane come in and be an authority commissioner figure on Dynamite, very William Regal like, where we don't see him much and he's not in all the
Mhm.
segments out of the show, and just have him come in and make sense out of it and be like, look, Tony's my friend. I've known Tony for a little bit, and I know a problem when I see one. I used to be a former commissioner, and I know that this isn't right. And he
It's
could.
simple.
It is, but again, but then if they're bringing Shane in for anything regarding, I don't know how that's gonna go, but again, I mean, if the rumors are true, I know a lot of people think Shane's going to be a part of this mock storyline. I don't want to see that at all. And as well
Let's go.
as far as him being the GM for Collision and Rampage, you might as well not even bring him in. Nobody, and that's the thing. Tony, this is what Tony doesn't understand about Collision and Rampage. I don't give a fuck what you put on those shows. I'm sorry. I do not care if you put on Will Ospreay versus Gunther on those shows. 90% of people are not watching those shows. They're not.
Mm-mm.
They're not
They're
watching those shows.
they're pointless. They it's they're in bad time slops. Time slop. They're in bad time slots. There's no split roster, so it's guys you're half the time you're wondering just why aren't they on Dynamite? They're completely pointless shows.
You have and the reason they are pointless and they weren't always like that
No.
because the first episode of my first ever AEW show was a Rampage. It was the first
Mm-hmm.
dance. CM Punk debuted on that show. He debuted on Rampage. Um,
Crazy.
the first episode of Rampage was very good from what I remember. It was the Brit, the Christian Cage. I mean that was a little stupid. They had him beat Omega before All Out, but anyway, it was. I mean, it was a solid episode of wrestling, right? And then you look at
Mm.
Collision. I mean, all you got to say about that is CM Punk, but once he left, the show went down the fucking gutter. But when a when AEW puts the redheaded stepchilds of their company on that show, and that is all they make those shows about, what do you think people are going to think of them, bro? I mean, honestly,
Exactly.
I mean, you're looking at. Well, I mean, the one show you're looking at is taped, so people get the answers to the event or get the results to the event before the Wednesday, late Wednesday night after Dynamite and Collision. Again, the reputation of Collision is CM Punk's old show, and it still has CM Punk's old friends that Tony Khan doesn't care about anymore because they're CM Punk's friends. And sometimes they show up on Dynamite, and sometimes they stay in Collision, and it's in an
That's about it.
NXT, and it's front of and sure it's in front of an NXT hardcore type audience, but NXT had some hardcore ass stories to go along with the hardcore fan audience.
Exactly. They were so connected to the show that you'd see the same people in the same seat for weeks, for months, and you recognize even fucking fans. Um, in Collision's not that's not gonna happen, bro. It's not that special. You ain't hitting like NXT was hitting back in Full Sail.
Yeah.
Like it's just one of those things where, and it's a sad contrast because Collision didn't start like that. It
No.
started out in a sold out United Center.
Yep.
It started out with a lot of potential, and they just failed it.
They absolutely did. And again, after months and months and months and months, and for Rampage, years and years and years, you don't think all the weeks of those match images being memes played a detriment to the show? I mean, how many
Hmm.
times do you see how many times do you scroll on Twitter throughout the day, during the week, and you see a match that they announced for Collision? I mean, bro, how many times have I sent you, as well as you and Logan, have sent those in the group chat, and we all make fun of the match that they announced?
I'm like, well, what the fuck is this? Wow, God, this is what they put on Collision every fucking time. And every time I say, oh, that's why I don't fucking watch Collision. You like put real shit on the fucking show. And there's so much you got to change about that show, man.
And you want to put Shane McMahon a part of those shows, thinking that that's gonna garner all that's gonna do is throw a ice cold bucket of water on Shane McMahon's run in AEW because everybody will forget about him within days.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that's going to do. At least try
Oh
to
yeah.
make the most out of it. But
Mm.
I don't know, man. I don't know. But anyways, bro, back to the Bucks. I mean, again, the run started off so hot. And speaking of the ice cold bucket of water, I mean, this is your prime example. This is your prime
Mm-hmm.
example of the ice cold bucket of water being dumped on somebody. So no good, no good, man. As for the match,
No.
I thought the match was fun. I did. I thought the Young Bucks are always going to show up and show out on pay per view. But yeah, I thought the match was very fun, and I thought that it was a good match. But man, another thing that really bothered me is I thought back to 3 years ago, and as I specifically thought about this when I was watching the Bucks entrance, but I thought back to when we were watching the Young Bucks come out of the tunnel for their all-out steel cage match, which is one of the best tag team matches, best steel cage matches, best matches period in company history against the
Mm-hmm.
Lucha Brothers. And I just thought about the reaction they got. And here we are 3 years later. They didn't get a fraction of that reaction coming out.
Like the signs are there, man. They gotta pick up the heat, man, and all they do is just pour water on it.
Man, yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. So that was the match. Like I said, it was fun, but nothing to it.
No, nothing at all. It was literally just a match.
Yep. Add that to the counter.
Literally.
Um, the just a match counter, man, it really is. Okay, the next match for the AEW International Championship, Pac, Will Ospreay. Oh Lord, this, my friend, was absolutely, positively in fucking credible. And with the
Oh
year
yeah.
he's having, he's up there for the year.
Oh yeah.
For the year, 100%. If this isn't a or close to a career year for Mr. Will Ospreay, I don't know what is because this man is showing up and showing the fuck out. I know Tony cannot wait until he puts the title on him so he could put him in every main event ever.
Oh dude, that man is gonna. Oh, you're never gonna see the end of him.
Yes, and I would actually, I would maybe like Will Ospreay to be up there with one of the longest reigning AEW champions.
I think he'd be able to do it.
I think he could turn out a good long reign. I think so.
I think he could.
And
Definitely.
yeah, and he's a company guy. He's the kind of guy that you want
You
to,
want to do that.
yeah, represent your company. Absolutely.
Mm, definitely.
This man, I this was one of the matches I was excited for coming into this. I thought it was a little stupid how we got here, but
Oh
regardless,
yeah.
you flash a image for Will Ospreay and Pac. If there isn't at least a small part of you excited, you got to check your pulse, man, because
Mm.
man, this was just. I knew they were going to put on a banger, but damn, they cooked. They cooked here, bro. So, in the beginning of the match, um, very, very early on, Pac hit a Red Arrow Sky Twister to the floor to Will Ospreay. He hit Will Ospreay, and a couple minutes later, Will Ospreay hit the same exact Sky Twister to the floor onto Pac. So in the beginning, it was giving me a little bit of a Ricochet and Velveteen Dream, whatever you do, I can do better vibes. Um,
Oh yeah.
and the commentators even kind of played to it, kind of played to Osprey, maybe trying to show Pac, um, whatever you could do, I could do just as pretty, if not prettier. But
Mhm.
and then in the back they show Mr. Trevor Mann, Ricochet, watching from the back. Ricochet's sitting in the back, and he's actually watching TV like a normal person. It's insane what a company can what a company change could do. Ricochet actually was facing the TV instead of
I'm just standing next to it.
yeah, standing next to the TV, watching the TV like an absolute weirdo. Um, so Ricochet was watching from the back. These two were just getting in some striking back and forth, punches and kicks. Will Ospreay, this then got to the outside. Will Ospreay hit Pac with a springboard forearm from off the barricade. Ospreay would then do a tumbling moonsault, his tumble moonsault he does over the top, and take out Pac. A little bit later, man, Pac went to go for a moonsault on Will Ospreay, and Will Ospreay straight up caught this man in power slam position. He catches him. He catches him for the. He catches him on the moonsault, and he goes to give him a power slam, and Pac counters his counter and turns it into a tilt-a-whirl DDT. He then hits Ospreay with a Liger Bomb, which was a near fall. These guys made their way to the apron as Will Ospreay went to go for an Os Cutter on the apron, and he went to go for the Os Cutter, got caught in a German suplex that just looked nasty, bro. Right on his neck. Right on his neck. Pac then lifts him up and hits him with a Poison Rana on the apron. He hits him with a Poison Rana on the apron. Um, Will Ospreay had his neck all taped up too because I guess Pac gave him a brainbuster on a production crate on Collision. So that was that. So I guess everybody's got neck problems, man. In AEW.
I'm telling you,
So
comes with the contract.
it must. It must, bro. So he then hits him with a Poison Rana on the apron, rolls him in the ring, gets him in a brutalizer. Will Ospreay then gets his foot on the rope. Pac goes to go for the Black Arrow. He goes to go for the Black Arrow. Will Ospreay gets the knees up. Ospreay then goes for a power bomb. And Pac, bro, Pac counters this into a Frankensteiner. Dude,
Fucking A.
that was hard, bro. That was hard.
Mhm.
The way him and Osprey almost like floated in air as he was flipping him into the Frankensteiner, as Tony Schiavone is sitting there yelling like an absolute buffoon. He's sitting there yelling, "This is where the best wrestle. This is
Oh,
where the best wrestle."
oh my
Hey,
god, I
wait,
get Tony Khan's yelling at in his ear, but like, bro, don't even listen to him.
the this is where you ruin the moment, Shivani. This is where you ruin the
Exactly.
moment.
This is where the worst commentate. How about that one?
Man, Pac
Oh,
hits Osprey with another Poison Rana and gets him the brutalizer. Osprey, instead of touching the rope, this man powers his way up. He powers his way up and gets he powers his way up and gets out of the brutalizer. Will Osprey would then hit him of a or sorry, Pac would drop down after Osprey got up, go to go for another poison, and Osprey countered into a Poison Rana of his own. He would go for he would go to go for another Poison Rana yeah, he would go for another Poison Rana of his own. Then a little bit later in the match, Pac would then go for a Poison Rana off the top rope. Osprey lands on his feet. I had a feeling this would happen as soon as they went for
oh
the
yeah.
Rana off the top. When they went for the Rana, Osprey backflips, gets on his feet, backs up into the corner. Pac turns around into a hidden blade. And he turns around into a hidden blade kick out from Pac. This was a big pop here. Osprey then goes for a Osprey then goes to go for a, or sorry, he hits another Os cutter, goes to hit the Storm Zero. Pac turns this into another Frankensteiner. He Frankensteins Will Osprey, rolls him up. Will rolls out of it, hits him. Then he's still got him in power bomb like position, so he drops him down into a Styles Clash. As soon as he gets done with the Styles Clash, he hits him with another hidden blade, and this would seal the deal for Will Ospreay, as Will Ospreay continues his reign as international champion. And yeah, this match was one of the most insane displays of athleticism I've ever seen. This was so good, but it wasn't so much to the point where it's just like, what are
It
they
really
doing?
can't. Exactly. It's not one of those where they're just moving so fast, just doing shit where your brain's just like, okay, what the fuck is it? What am I looking at? What's going on? It was genuine, just great choreography, great chemistry, and just a fucking phenomenal match, man. Like I said, great energy, great speed, fast, crazy fast, but not unintelligibly fast. And I think it was a really good, perfect display of, that type of match at its best, man. Glad we got what we got. Glad we get to see these type of matches where, they still have choreography and meaning behind the moves, and I think they did really fucking good, man. Loved it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. No doubt, bro. No doubt. I thought, like I said, man, this wasn't the kind of, like Sir K said, man, this wasn't the kind of thing you watch where you're just questioning to yourself, what am I watching? This is just no selling, no psychology here. You know what I mean? And obviously at times they did pick up the pace, but it wasn't too much to the point. It was enough to get you excited. It was enough to get you hyped up for
Mhm.
the match. It wasn't the kind of stuff where you're just left asking yourself, what are they doing? But
Exactly.
no, man, I thoroughly enjoyed the match, and honestly, man, this match is I mean, we got a lot of matches to review at the end of the year, but this is definitely a
True.
nominee. This is a
Exactly.
yeah, this is definitely a candidate. Now again, we'll have to see because there's been a lot of great matches and great quality stuff this year, man. But yeah, man, yeah, this was a fantastic match. I love this match, and it really goes to remind you, in case anybody forgot, how good of a performer Pac is, because a lot of times this man is taking long breaks from AEW, or there's always something going on with him, or Tony's not using him, he's not in the States, he's not showing up for 2 months, Tony's booking him to do weird stuff or not booking him at all, you know what I mean? And I'm just so glad we got to let him go out here for 20 minutes and just be Pac. And
Exactly.
it really goes to show the type of talent that AEW is, in my honest
In
opinion,
possession of.
yeah, in possession of, and in my honest opinion, missed the mark on very huge. This guy should have been
Mhm.
this guy should have absolutely been a world champion by now.
Oh, fuck yeah. Dude is a monster. He's a phenomenal wrestler, talker, act. He's great at everything, man. And the fact that this is probably the best they ever used him is really fucking sad.
Definitely, definitely, man. Yeah, and I don't want to be that guy, but if I
Neither
were
do I.
Triple H, man, I would have a telescope on his contract, bro.
Scoop some of these people the fuck up.
Especially Pac. I constantly think about
Oh,
how great a feud with him and Cody would be. Cody needs
dude.
heels to feud with,
Ugh.
and Pac, man, Pac, Black, um, I
It'd be
mean,
so phenomenal, man.
Jay White. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Um,
It really does.
Will Ospreay wins the match ban as Trevor Ricochet Man is in the back, and he's standing in front of a TV, standing by himself, clapping at the TV. So, Ricochet's You know,
He's
Ricochet's
excited.
yeah, he's enjoying the match, man. He's enjoying the match. So yes, this was amazing, man. This was absolutely amazing. It's really hard to say if this was match of the night. I guess it's just your preference. You want a
Mm-hmm.
classic wrestling match or do you want a bloodfest? Um and
You know
just
me, I love my fucking so.
Oh, so yeah, this was all up to your preference, man. But it definitely had to have been between Will Osprey and Pac, and obviously Swerve and Hangman. But Will Osprey and Pac, man, they tore the house down. I'm glad Tony put the international title on Osprey, because you know he doesn't. I would actually really like to see them do this more because and use this as their IC title to when guys lose this, they elevate to the next
Exactly,
title.
exactly. I think they could do that with this title, man. I think they could.
Yeah, and I would really like to see this title be something of a stepping stone, similar to how the IC title is for the World Heavyweight title. I would love to see Will Ospreay bring so much prestige to this title, drop it to somebody who is when that person drops the title, then they move up as well, and obviously Ospreay would have moved up.
Rotate.
Um, so I would really like to see that, man. I think that would be very good. But man, yeah, this match was absolutely incredible. No complaints out of me whatsoever from this one, man. Extremely good match.
Exactly. Extremely good. Fucking phenomenal, man. And glad we got it.
Yeah, see, one thing AEW displayed tonight that I can appreciate because it reminded me of the old AEW is their variety. And the
Mm-hmm.
next match displayed their variety very well. And this next match was the Chicago Street Fight between Willow Nightingale and Chris Statlander.
Mm-hmm.
This match, though it had its fuck ups, and it had a lot of fuck ups, it was very good. And honestly, dude, I thought, and I honestly think this was the whole intent for this match. I thought this was going to be the sleeper. I thought this was going to be the match that they put in there because they know the fans just seen a banger with Osprey and Pac, and they're putting this match here to let the crowd calm down a little.
Well,
So Willow and Chris Statlander started the match off very um, not much use of weapons. However, Chris had Stokely getting out tables and setting up tables and whatnot. And the match really started to pick up, man, when well, first, in the very beginning of the match, or yeah, like not very early, but soon into the match, Statlander power bombed Willow Nightingale through the Spanish announce table, which AEW announce tables don't break much. Um, this one broke. This one broke, man. She power bombed her. At least I don't feel like I see their tables, their announce tables break very much. Um,
I
so
think they break weird from what I like can always remember about their tables or announce tables. I think they like the configuration of like the breakawayness is just like really weird.
mm, yeah, yeah, it's definitely it's definitely a differently built table from the WWE ones. But I will say, I like how much slower the AEW announce tables break because if somebody in WWE's doing a spot where they're putting somebody through the table and they're standing in front of the table, that front panel flies out and smacks them in the knees so hard. It is
Oh,
it's
there's
horrible.
no the way they have their front panel set up is so bad. It's either, like you said, gonna fly forward and smack, the person doing the move to in their legs, or if you fucking get planted on it, it just stays up vertically for a couple seconds, and half the time you fall with it as
Yeah.
it just fucking tumbles you down. So they gotta make some give in the middle to where it kind of just folds like
Yeah.
everything else. But I think that's one up that AEW might have with their tables, because from what I recall, theirs tables have more, it crumbles better.
Yeah, it does. It does. So she
Hmm.
puts her through the announce table. She has Stokely set up another table on the outside. Dude, Statlander goes, oh god, this looked so bad. Statlander goes for a swanton off the top rope onto Willow, who's laying on this table. Willow moves super late. And as she stands up, Statlander just swantons on top of her, and she's just standing there trying to run away and just gets swantoned on top of. So when Willow fell, her leg landed right where Chris Statlander's lower back landed. And she just, her lower back landed right on top of Willow Nightingale's leg. And Chris is literally laying there screaming out in pain, holding her lower back because oh man, it,
Sure, it digged right into her back.
oh, it looked horrible. And Willow wears those thick wrestling boots. So,
Mhm.
uh,
You know that hurt.
I was concerned for Statlander's back, and I was concerned for Willow's ankle because,
Yeah.
jeez, um,
Oh,
it looked horrible. It looked horrible, man. So we then a little bit later in the match, this was the other big mess up. They go for a suplex on a trash can. They fucking miss the trash can, and Willow just lands smack dab on the stage.
oh,
Oh, dude.
mm, not fun.
She hit like the corner of the trash can, and then the trash can just rolled away as she landed
Oh,
just landed right on the stage, dude. It looked, it looked and sounded horrible. Um, so Willow, out of nowhere, then grabs a thing of three tied together light tubes, hits Statlander with it. She then chases away Stokely Hathaway with the light tube, and Chris that would then spear her off the stage through two tables. She would get her back in the ring, and she would get her back in the ring and pull out thumbtacks. She pulled out thumbtacks as Willow pulled out a chain. Statlander got some offense, um, poured the thumbtacks everywhere. She went to go for her axe kick, missed, and did the splits right on top of the thumbtacks.
God. Not as not something that probably felt good.
Yes, and then Willow also did give her another move. It might have been a suplex or something on top of the thumbtacks as well, which just it was very man.
Very brutal.
Yeah, definitely, bro. Statlander then hit a Spanish fly on to Willow, grabbed the chain that Willow brought in, hit her with it. Statlander would then hit a tombstone piledriver, wrap the chain around her neck and her mouth, and yank that motherfucker back for days.
Ugh,
Man, this
very brutal.
match was brutal, and this match I did not expect to be this good. I honestly,
No.
like I said, I thought this was going to be something that they threw in there as kind of like, okay, Chicago, calm down, calm down. I know you guys just seen Will Ospreay and Pac. We're going to give you this match to kind of relax yourselves and get ready for the rest of the show. And no, they came with some heavy hitters, bro, because up until this point, every match on the show was fantastic.
No, yeah, definitely. Fantastic match after fantastic match. You get one where usually, with what happened with the build, you're like, okay, this is just going to be a calm down match, a break match to calm everyone down, and it wasn't, man. It kept them up on their feet.
That it did. That it did. Then we start getting these weird little glitches in the screen. This was the first one of the night. I wasn't sure if the Wyatt Six were taking over or if Shane McMahon dipped into his computer companies that he was running over there in Asia for back in the early 2010s and was messing with AEW's production. I didn't know what was going on, but what was next was the Will Ospreay backstage segment. Will's sitting on a production crate backstage. He's calling out Ricochet. He says there is a competitor back here that I want to see, and that is Ricochet. He's back here collecting a paycheck. And before he could say anything else, Ricochet walks up, and Ospreay goes to shake his hand. Bro, you were just talking all this shit about him. How is he gonna walk up and you offer to shake his hand?
Like, dog, you can't talk all that shit and you be like, hey, what's up, man? After just talking shit to the, like, what?
Talking about he's just here to collect a paycheck.
You just go shake his hand. Come on, dog. What are you, Tony Khan?
Ricochet walks up to him and smacks his hand away. He smacks his hand and he says, nah. He says, nah. He says, I'm back here trying to enjoy myself and I hear you talking mad shit. What's up?
Brawl out.
What? That, that, that was incredible.
Yeah,
I've never heard him talk and it sounds so much like himself and sound like something that he would actually say.
exactly. Like a normal fucking human being, not Mr. fucking happy-go-lucky like he had always to, have to be. I really like what we got there. I like the genuineness behind that.
That was fantastic. That was I when I heard him say that, I was like, wow, that actually sounded the most genuine
Good.
I've ever heard him. That actually sounds like
Yeah.
something that he would say in real life. That was the most I've ever heard him sound like himself.
Crazy.
So Osprey tells him you need to stop sitting back and collect a paycheck. You just got here. You need to start racking up some wins, and then you can earn a shot for me at this international championship. Ricochet tells him not to worry. He tells him not to worry. I'm gonna get some wins, and I'm gonna see you very soon. This was awesome. This was awesome. This
Yeah,
was again. I cannot stress how this is the probably like the one and only time I've ever heard Ricochet actually sound like himself.
exactly, dude. Exactly. I like how he sounded. He sounded probably like how he does in real life if he's angry, man. And that's what I want to see from the guy. And I'm glad we're finally fucking getting it.
Absolutely, bro. The next match. Exactly all the competitors I predicted. The internet or not international, there's so many fucking titles. The Continental title four-way. Mark Briscoe, OC, Takeshita, Okada. This is where the show kind of dipped for me. I'm not going to
Mm.
lie. Aside from the subtle hints at Okada and Takeshita, I did not care for this match. I didn't. It was just a little too random and it was just a little it just didn't really this is kind of where the crowd started to calm down. And rightfully so. The reactions weren't too crazy in this match for much of anything. And this is again, this is something I genuinely just didn't really care for. And this like I said, this is kind of where the show took a dip for me. Like I told you guys, man, the show did dip a little bit for me towards the uh, middle half. But
Hmm.
and this is the match. I it just wasn't I wasn't too into this. I couldn't get into it. Um, I couldn't get into it, and yeah, it just didn't. This one just honestly did not do it for me, bro.
No, exactly. It was pretty pointless. The Continental title has been pretty pointless as a whole. So this was pretty pointless and a match that was kind of just here to to get that title in a title defense for once. And every time it happens, I just think like, why does this title exist?
Yeah.
Why couldn't that tournament just been a title shot for something instead of its own title that really is pointless?
No, absolutely, absolutely. Absolutely. We did, like I said, get cool face-offs and cool kind of back and forths and teases at a full-fledged Takeshita versus Okada thing, and you could definitely tell that that man Okada might have his eye on Takeshita a little bit, um,
Hmm.
because um, after the match they got this beautiful shot of him and Don Callis standing at the bottom of the ramp looking up at Okada like you escaped me tonight. Um and that I can appreciate, and that I would love to, I would love to see Takesha be the one to take the title from Okada. I think it's, I mean, Takesha should have been had gold, but I mean it it is, you know, it is what it is. But I would love to see him be the one to take the title from Okada. I think that would be appropriate. But other than that, man, um, yeah, this was kind of the calm down match and whatnot. Orange Cassidy went to go for the orange punch. It got countered into a rainmaker, and Okada won the match. And then after this, we did get more glitching. So nothing necessarily happened to correlate with the glitching, so I think this was honestly just AEW production blunders.
Wouldn't surprise me. They constantly, so fucking 5, 6 years in, still whatever it is, still have a lot of production blunders. So that wouldn't shock me at all, man. But Continental Classic, or Continental Crown title defense, or whatever. It was a title defense. They don't know why this title was made, man, but it's here, and they're defending it to at least make it, let people remind everybody that it's still here for some reason.
Some reason.
Some reason. I don't know
Yeah.
why, but
So yeah, man. This was this was that, man, and yeah, like I said, this is, for me, this is where things kind of were like blah. Um,
yeah,
Speaking of blah, the next match. Oh my fucking god, dude. Mercedes Monet versus Hikaru Shida. Bro,
dog.
I
Why?
don't know. I don't know what, man. I don't know. I don't know what they got going on, bro. I don't know what they got going on with Mercedes. I I do, man. I'm so serious, man. I have no. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say, man. I do not. I don't know what the fuck they got going on with her, man.
No, I have no clue what the hell is just going on with everything. She's just not the same, man. She's not hitting the same. She's not moving the same. And I just don't understand.
Yeah, this crowd died. They would wake back up. But during this match, when I tell you this crowd did not make a fucking peep, I mean this crowd did not make a peep. This match was not really that good, man. This match was not really
No,
that good. It was, first of all, what the fuck is this? Are you serious right now? Why is this happening? Well, what do you couldn't have put anybody in front of Mercedes Sheeta? I mean, bro, who cares about Hikaru Shida, man? I mean,
I
come on, man.
doesn't make sense, man. First of all, this match is a match that already happened not that long ago. Um, and Mercedes just won. Don't know why they re-upped on this match. That it didn't really need a re-up, damn near ever. So don't understand that at all, man. Just a mystery of everything that goes on with Mercedes and a match like this.
Yeah, you're not lying, bro. You're not lying. The crowd was dead. Mercedes had Camille banned from ringside, so during the match she kept looking up to, I guess, see if Camille was coming or if Camille was there. I don't know what that was about. The match consisted of, bunch of counters, a bunch of just stuff that just did not hit, bro. It was basically just these two women trading off moves and um doing putting on a very basic, very bare bones, nothing to care about match.
Yeah, there was nothing going in to care about this match, and unlike other matches, they didn't wow us with a great match to make up for the lack of build. Nope, it was just lack of build. There was a match, and that's it. Just happenings.
Yeah. Sheeta would go to grab her kendo stick, which Mercedes would have a tug of war with her over. And Sheeta had this spot in the match where she was going to hit her with it because she was so mad at her for some fucking reason. I'll get to that in a minute. But Monet capitalizes, hits her with a moneymaker, and that was it. Bro, okay, first of all, why did they go with the story of Sheeta not having a killer instinct and Sheeta not bringing herself to hit Mercedes with the kendo stick? What has Mercedes done to Sheeta to get Sheeta so mad at her to the point where she's debating on just throwing away her title match to obliterate her with this kendo stick right now?
Like there's there's no story to build that moment up to back it up. It was just
Like
a moment that they had in the match for no reason.
like what? It made like it just made no sense to me, bro. It made no sense, man. It made absolutely no sense. And it just again, it was just like I'm just I'm watching this and I'm just saying to myself like where is the turmoil here for Hikaru Shida to be so fucking fed up with Mercedes to the point where she's conflicting with herself? I'm just going to beat the fuck out of her with this kendo stick right now. I'm just going to whoop her fucking ass with this kendo stick. What what in this feud has brought you to come to that inner conflict with yourself where you want to obliterate her with this kendo stick? Nothing has happened.
No, not a single fucking thing has happened to build that moment up. They just the producers of the match just fucking had it made it just because they thought of it. Nothing built it up. Nothing backed it up. It was literally just, hey, this is sometimes that happens, in a feud. So let's just do it in this match, man. There was no real feud. They still did it anyway.
That was that was again just that was one of the dumbest decisions I've ever that was one of the dumbest decisions I've ever seen for them in terms of an in-match story. I don't know why you would go with that of all fucking things for your in-match story. I don't understand what the logic was behind that at all. Um as for Mercedes, I don't know what the fuck they got going on with her, man, but this run is just not hitting, bro. This run
No,
it's not hitting, and they got to switch it up. I don't know what they got to do. I don't know if they need to put her against better opponents. I don't know what they need to do with Mercedes, but again, this run is not off to a good start, man, and we are about 6 months in at this point.
no, it's really been a bad run. Miss after miss. Like you said, I don't know if it's the opponent. I don't know if it's a mix of her. I don't know what it is, man. But something needs to change. They gotta start trying to put some fucking coal on some of this, man, because it's fucking ice cold.
Definitely. Definitely, man. So, yes, her run is indeed incredibly ice cold. Yeah, and I don't know what they need to do to fix it, but they need to fucking fix it, man, because there is no way you have a woman of this caliber on your roster and she is participating in the calm down match for the crowd, and a match where the crowd is just absolutely
Dead
uh,
carrying.
absolutely just, man, just dead during. I mean, dude, there's no way you have Sasha Banks on your roster, Mercedes Moné on your roster, and she is participating in the matches that the crowd is just this dead for. I don't know,
Crazy,
man.
man. Something's gotta happen.
So that was that. That was that. Yeah, did not enjoy the match, and this is these two matches for me is where the show took a massive dip in just the amount of intrigue behind it. So yeah,
Definitely, definitely. The two low matches of the night, man, and glad it was only really, that middle part of the show.
most definitely, most definitely, man. The next match, the double main event time. Bryan Danielson,
Ooh.
Bryan Danielson versus Jack Perry for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Jack Perry comes out to this very cool vignette where it was a police radio. It was police radio talking, and it was talking about how there is a bus spray painted in all black, and he's headed down I-90 going north to Hoffman Estates.
Hell yeah.
The bus, and they said on there, the bus is spray painted all black, and it has the words scapegoat spray painted in the front of it. I absolutely love that he fucking drives that bus around everywhere he
He
goes.
actually,
That is
that
hilarious.
is literally, that is so funny. I saw that one video where the dude was having to just drive next to him and he filmed it, and it was just Jack Perry driving that bus going from, arena to arena. Why not, I guess? I
He
mean,
was
some people do have their tour bus, I guess that's his.
he was by himself too. That was the best part. Like, bro, where was Anna Jay? Oh, I mean, it was a bus. She might have been in the
Might have been
in
in
the
the back
yeah,
somewhere.
well,
You
hanging
never
out
know, but
while this
like,
fucking guy's just
God,
driving this all black scapegoat bus.
the fucking all black short bus. It's like, come on, man. It's funny and it's cool. Like, the scapegoat stuff. Kind of think it's unnecessary, and I think
Stole
it's
our
kind of
stuff.
goofy at times. They did steal our fucking stuff. That fraud. But
I got more ideas.
like exactly, we've got a lot of ideas over here. Don't have to steal it, but yeah, man. It's just I like it. I like the bus, and I like the fact that it's legit. That's actually what he drives from place to place. But like the scapegoat stuff is just, please can it, dude? Please.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, so yeah, I mean, overall, at face value, bro, is the nickname bad? It's not, but it just all ties back to the CM Punk stuff, and and again, when he calls himself the scapegoat, we all know why he was scapegoated. It's because of the CM Punk
Mhm.
situation. So again, at face value, is it a cool nickname to have? Sure it is, but I mean, at the end of the day, bro,
There's no fire.
it's going to just tie you right back to everything that we should be trying to move him away from, because this evolution of Jack Perry is obviously my favorite
Good.
version of Jack Perry. It's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad he moved on and from the Jungle Boy, and again, I'm glad he moved on and he you know became, and I'm also glad I'm I'm glad we're getting this version of Jack Perry and not the original version of heel Jack Perry where he was coming out to that fucking that Beethoven
Beethoven.
music. What was
Yeah,
that?
that shit was so weird and lame, and I did not
Bro,
like that man.
people were
But like,
hyping that shit up like, oh, he's coming out to the Beethoven. Like, bro, that shit was ass. I can't fucking lie, bro. That shit sucked.
that shit was such a vibe killer, man. Because in time I was excited to see, heel Jack, and then every time he would come out, I'd be like, dog, what the fuck is this, bro? Cause
Atrocious.
that's, it was really bad. Cause that's the thing. I like Jack and I like his evolution, man. I
Yeah.
really do. I just think it's the CM Punk ties, like we said, like we've been saying. It's just the CM Punk ties that are keeping him back, man. I think he needs to shed all that. And like I said last time we talked about this, but I want to hear about the character of Jack Perry. I want to hear about his history with Luchasaurus, why he turned on him, his
Man.
history with Christian, why that happened. That's the type of shit that he should be, a heel for, not getting fucking muffed by fucking Phil Brooks. Like, listen, and that's the worst part about the fucking scapegoat stuff is that's all I think about is the video replays in my head, and all I see is him just getting muffed by fucking CM Punk, and that's not a good look. I really think showing that footage was nothing but a negative for these guys. And and that's the thing. If the footage was a more even fight, hey, if you want to air it, okay. But it wasn't. It was just Jack Perry, low key just getting muffed, and you could just see him yelling at Tony Khan afterwards. So that's all I think of when I hear, scapegoat. I see that fucking goat mask and all like the punk references, man. Just please cut it and focus on your actual characters in ring, heel origin or the reasons Christian, Luchasaurus,
CM
those
Punk.
reasons. That's not the punk, the other reasons, the fucking thoughtful
Ex-
AEW
yes,
reasons.
yes. This we should focus on the stories that have been told on AEW television and not a backstage
Back
fight to drive
exactly.
his character. Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying, and I totally agree. Um, yeah, I absolutely agree. Again, um, every time you hear scapegoat, it ties back to CM Punk because you think to yourself, what is he the scapegoat of? And he was the scapegoat of the CM Punk firing. He was blamed
Mhm.
for ultimately something that probably wasn't entirely all his fault. You know what I
No,
mean?
like we said at the time, he just took the bait. Punk was gonna, it was gonna happen with somebody in Punk, and it just happened to be Jack Perry that took the bait, and got Punk fired, man. That's all Punk wanted. It's what he got, man. So
Yeah.
he got his happy ending, and Jack Perry didn't. I hate you so much. He got his happy
I don't
ending.
know what
He
you.
got fired. He got released. That's his happy ending, and
Ah,
but Jack Perry didn't get his. He just got muffed. And yeah, they did kind of overly blame it on him, but like not enough in my opinion. Because at the end of the day, I think the scapegoat stuff would work better if he was like
fired.
misused, quote unquote, on television. No, not have to be fired, but just like they could have done something where they like don't use him, but like make that a thing on television where he's like, "You guys aren't using me. I deserve to be used still. You're scapegoating me." So I think the scapegoat stuff could work if they, took that approach where they kind of it looked like management didn't want to use him, but his character is he's a part of heel management. So scapegoating
Yeah.
really doesn't work for a person
Be-
in power.
which and that's a good point because they were off to a good start because Full Gear
He did
they
get
were gonna bring Jack Perry back and then management literally ghosted, bro, and they did not
mm-hmm.
fucking bring him in until April. You know what I mean? But then to bring him in, that's a good point, like you said. But to bring him in with, if they would have brought him in as a rogue singles, like we said, because he doesn't match with the elite. I'm sorry, he doesn't.
He still
He's
doesn't.
he's literally just they're corporate power hungry assholes. And then there's just this rogue young dude wearing a fucking goat mask driving a fucking all black bus. Like what? Well, like it doesn't match. You know what I mean? So Yeah, and like you said, at first it definitely could have worked, but I will
Yeah.
say, man, one thing that Jack Perry was talking about this on Dynamite this past Wednesday, but I did not know this. It actually makes me respect Jack Perry a lot more. But when he was fired or suspended from AEW, this man made made and was physically selling his own merch because
Wow.
the company wouldn't back him.
What the fuck? Good for
And
PWG.
I, well, being
Bet
that
they own that
that
now.
runs through it.
Or
I
they
was gonna,
don't own.
they
Yeah.
yeah, they basically, I mean, they're the
They.
yeah, they got most of the top selling shirts nowadays come from AEW. But yeah, he said on Wednesday when he was in New Japan, he basically started from scratch, like was dead ass making and selling his own his own merch because the company wouldn't back him. And I'm assuming that had a
Crazy.
lot to do with CM Punk going back to WWE and Tony Khan being a fucking crybaby about it.
Crybaby gone, man. But yeah, I think the scapegoat stuff could have worked if you, like you said, made him like a rogue vigilante, heel type thing where he's mad at the world, he's mad at management. If anything, he should also be mad at the elite with the Young Bucks. I don't really know why he's on their side, because by all logic, their beef with CM Punk kind of caused CM Punk to beef with him,
Yeah.
unintentionally. So, as a character, he should also be mad at the Young Bucks and shit. Which maybe Tony Khan is playing some chess, and he's gonna, eventually do something with that. But I doubt it. And I like Jack Perry. Cause I hate how I always have to say it because I'm always just making jokes or like you're critiquing him. But I really like Jack Perry. I think it's just the surroundings. I think it's the overall direction that Tony Khan took him in that didn't do him a favor. Should have came in angrier, alone, and a true scapegoat. And I think you could have kept the nickname in that identity. But with his current character, that could work. Don't think it fits the scapegoat identity.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. And I honestly think he has a lot of the tools. He has a lot of the tools to succeed, bro. I mean, he gets a crowd reaction. You know what I mean? And one thing this match proved is, I mean, I'm gonna get to it in just a second, but before I get to that, he's got all the tools, man. He can talk, he can go in the ring. It's just a matter of playing to the guy's strengths and putting him in the right positions. And I don't know if, constantly mentioning the CM Punk and alluding to the CM Punk stuff, is going to be a good move on for him. I don't know if that's playing to his strengths because you, like dumbasses, released footage that he didn't really look all the best in. And I'm not saying, he should have, fucking soloed CM Punk and fucking DDT'd him on the concrete in Wembley Stadium in gorilla position, but I mean,
Didn't
it,
look
it just
good.
it
He got
didn't
muffed.
it didn't do him any favors, and that's just why I don't understand why they did that to the poor guy. Because again, I love his passion. I think his passion for the business is there. I mean, this fucking
Right.
guy forged his own TNT championship. He forged his own title. He completely reinvented his character, and it's a great reinvention. For the
It
most
is.
part, it's a great reinvention. He actually is a guy in AEW who chose to fucking evolve, and I can
Look
always
at that.
respect that.
Not a
Um,
lot of people do that. Look at fucking Orange Cassidy. They fucking reverted MJF. A lot of people don't fucking change or evolve.
Guevara, Guevara is still the
Guevara.
exact same from when you know
It
Dar
started. Whoever. Hmm.
Darby's say the exact same too, but Darby's not necessarily a guy that needed to change. The fans have loved
No.
Darby, and he's got
Dar.
the natural connection.
Yeah, Darby's such himself and is so genuine. Really doesn't need a character change.
Yep.
I could see him, maybe pulling out a bad guy side of him one day when he needs to turn heel. But other than that, he's not someone that needs to change his identity because his identity is himself, and he's like you always throw that comparison, but he's like Jeff Hardy, where he's such a unique guy,
Yeah.
where being himself is enough of a character.
And then too, what also doesn't do Jack favors is like the stuff that John Moxley did on Wednesday. He goes up to Jack and he says, "You know, I don't care what they say about you. You're a sweet kid." What do you think that's referencing? Like why? Like
Like, and like even character wise, why would Jack Perry not just go fucking jump the shit out of him for saying that? That makes him look even worse. Like, stop bitching the man. This company just bitches the fuck out of this man. From fucking production bitches to fucking Taco Bell $7,
oh,
fucking shit like that. Like, dude, just stop all that shit, please. You're making him look worse because he is trying his best. It's the shit around him, man, and the overall direction that Tony Khan likes to take him.
100%. 100%, man. I mean, he again, like I said, you have Mox telling him, you're a sweet kid. What do you think that's referencing? That's fucking referencing, CM Punk trying to paint him as if he's, an arrogant, kid that doesn't listen to anybody and this and that. It's just like, dude, why? Why do we have to continue to do this, bro? And that I think is the next step for Jack Perry. But again, I respect him. I respect his passion for the business. I think he has great passion for the business. This guy, made his own bus. He made his own title. The man was fucking selling his own merch. Basically wanted to be fired from AEW because he just wanted a fresh start. I mean, he's got passion for the business. He's got a lot of passion for the business, and he's a great guy for AEW to have. I just hope they take him more seriously because he could very well be a future piece to the company. And I think he
He
is
is.
if
I
done
think he could
correctly.
be. Exactly. It's just Tony Khan's direction that fails a lot of people, and I really don't want it to fail Jack Perry, man.
And two, CM Punk literally has been on record saying he doesn't have a
No
problem
beef.
with Jack Perry. There's nothing
No.
there. It was just happened to be a bad
In the moment,
situation and a bad in the
right?
moment, situation. It's just, it is what it is, man. But they really got to move on from him, man. But anyways, to get to my other point, Jack Perry did get a "fuck you, Jack" chant, but that was when he was healing up to Bryan Danielson. But in terms of his entrance and that Chicago heel reaction that I'm assuming AEW thought he was gonna get because he's in Chicago and this is CM Punk's town, he didn't even get it. Actually, he got a lot of cheers. He got a lot of cheers because people like the guy.
Exactly. He's a guy to like. He's cool. He can be cool. So I really don't know why they still trying to fucking hammer down the CM Punk heat when it's not there. It's not. Maybe if it
No.
was a year ago, right after it happened, maybe you had something there, but you didn't. You took him off TV, obviously, got suspended, got muffed. Um, but it is what it is, man, and just please move on.
No doubt, bro. No doubt. So he didn't even get a horrible reaction here tonight. He actually he did get a lot of cheers, man. He did get a lot of cheers. And again, the "fuck you Jack" chant wasn't even aimed just at Jack Perry for not doing anything because the crowd hates him because they fired CM Punk or cuz CM Punk got fired or whatever. But again, and two, I don't know what AEW is expecting. They do know a lot of their fan base nowadays hates CM Punk, and they actually scapegoated CM Punk. So,
They really did. They did a successful job. They're, the elitists, the mark out demons that we always talk about.
yep,
Those fucking people hate CM Punk now.
yeah,
Anything he
they
does,
loved him.
dude. Oh, they loved him to death, man. But the second he left on bad terms, which really wasn't even bad terms, he just wanted to leave in general. Um, it's just, horrible guy. Any feud he's in, they fucking shit on it in WWE. They fucking hate the guy. He scapegoated CM Punk.
Yeah, they did. They absolutely did, man. But so yeah, he was actually getting the "Oh, cry me a river," which is so whenever they do that, I just love how happy it makes Jack Perry.
Dude.
He feels
He's up there
himself so hard.
screaming.
Dude, when
He's
they
up
did
there.
that, he was face to face. He was or corner to corner with Bryan Danielson. As soon as they started chanting that, he leaned back on the ropes and just had the biggest smile on his face and was just so happy. It's hilarious,
Dude,
bro.
the way he fucking cheeses when fucking he gets those reactions, dude. I fucking love it, dude. He can't hold his excitement at all. It's
No,
great.
he cannot. So Jack, Jack was hitting a lot of snapdragons on Bryan, trying to target the neck. Commentary says that Jack was mocking Kenny Omega.
Mm,
Interesting. I know they
interesting
said he's
reference.
supposed. Yeah, exactly. I know they said he's supposed to be coming, later this year. So maybe they're starting to set the table a little bit. But they said that Jack was mocking Kenny Omega. They're on the
Mm.
apron, and Jack's trying to get some offense in on Bryan, but Bryan ends up grabbing him in a double underhook and swings him into like a double underhook suplex. Jack lands right on the ground. Jack lands right on the ground, right smack on the mat, and Bryan would Bryan would then Bryan would then start kicking Perry's or oh no, sorry. The ref a little bit later in the match would go down because I believe Bryan accidentally bumped into him. The ref would go down. Bryan would then start to kick Jack Perry's head in, but the Young Bucks would come out and hit Bryan Danielson with a Tony Khan driver. The Blackpool Combat Club would then come out for the save. Um, Jack Perry, as Bryan was still recovering from the TK driver, would hit him with the running knee. He would hit him with the running knee to the side of the head. Bryan would kick out. Perry would get in the corner and proceed to do Bryan's yes chant. He would run at Bryan, but Bryan would catch him with a Busaiko knee. Um,
Jack sold the hell out of those knees, by the way. His
oh,
selling
dude.
of the Psycho knee, incredible, man.
Yeah.
He sells that move incredibly.
Yeah. In general, his selling is very,
He's
very,
a
very good.
he's really good at selling, man. He really is.
Um, Bryan, um, a little bit later, a little bit later in the match, Jack would start slapping Bryan Danielson, pissing him off. He would start pissing Bryan Danielson off, and Bryan would get fired up, or as they say, waking up the dragon. He would start to awaken the dragon, and they would trade strikes. Jack Perry would then go for a lariat, which got ducked. Bryan would turn around and hit Perry with another Busaiko knee, which he kicked out of. Bryan would then kick Perry's head in, use the or start doing the yes chant, hit Jack with one last Busaiko knee, and then that sealed the deal for Jack Perry. As as Bryan was doing the yes chant, Jack Perry did his little crucifying thing. It is a little, his little crucifying, where he spreads both of his arms out, sacrificing himself. And Bryan hit him with a Busaiko knee to retain the AEW World Championship here in the match against Jack Perry. The match was very good. The match was very good. I liked it,
Yeah,
and it shows that Jack can go, and it shows that Jack can go at a high level. And I like that they closed the chapter on the Jack Perry and Bryan Danielson stuff. Bryan picked up the victory and whatnot, and that's it, man. So yeah, I enjoyed this a lot. I really did.
definitely. I enjoyed it a lot. It was a great match. Great, chemistry from these two. And I like what they did here, man.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. So, mm, so after the match, Perry's sitting in the ring, and Perry's sitting in the corner of the ring, and Bryan's um standing in the middle of the ring, and all of a sudden we see Kill Switch, Luchasaurus, come up from behind Bryan Danielson, and I was like, oh no. And then I said to myself, wait a minute. Jack Perry's in the ring. Is Jack Perry? And I'm like, okay, where is this gonna go? Kill Switch comes out and he choke slams Bryan. He turns around and him and Jack are staring at each other like, and I was like, I was mesmerized by this. I was like, man, this is a really cool moment. And and then all of a sudden we hear Christian's music. Christian's walking down the ramp with his contract. Luchasaurus walks up the ramp to meet him, and then the whole patriarchy starts walking towards the ring. Now remember, the BCC were out here to help Bryan during the match. Well, the patriarch is coming down, and I'm thinking to myself, in this moment, I'm thinking to myself, oh, okay, Jack Perry's going to cost Christian Cage the contract.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking in this moment, because he didn't forget what Christian did to him. And then all of a sudden, we just see Moxley standing in front of the ring guarding Bryan. He's guarding Bryan, and the BCC and Pac walk up and they stand shoulder to shoulder with Jon Moxley. So the whole Blackpool Combat Club and then the honorary Oos Pac is just standing there, guarding Bryan Danielson. Bryan's smiling in the ring because his boys are protecting him. And then Excalibur's like, or not Excalibur, Jim Ross is like, the Blackpool Combat Club, they're back together. I'm like, y'all never addressed this. I'm like, what?
Yeah, they
And
can't be
then
back together if they never actually broke up.
and then Excalibur's like, well, here's your questions if you were wondering about the Blackpool Combat Club. Nobody thought to ask anybody about this? Like when Tony
Yeah.
Schiavone interviewed him? Like,
You didn't ask about the fucking group he was in?
okay, so Jim Ross is just the black he's got help from his Blackpool Brotherhood. I'm like, y'all never address this, bro. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, why are we acting like Jon Moxley hasn't been doing a completely different thing aside from the Blackpool Combat Club for the past 2 or 3 weeks? So I'm like, all right, whatever. So the patriarchy walks away. They walk away, and they Mox and the BCC and Mr. Honorary Oos Pac get in the ring. Moxley hugs Danielson, and it's a very deep-rooted, very loving hug he gives to Bryan. He's hugging him, they're boys, right? He's hugging him, man. They're all in the ring celebrating. Pac hugs Wheeler Yuta, and he turns Wheeler Yuta's head away from Bryan. Claudio gives Bryan a European uppercut, knocks Bryan on his ass. Bryan's laying there looking up at him like, what the fuck? Dude, I ain't never seen this, bro. Jon Moxley pulls out a plastic bag, puts it over Bryan's head, and suffocates him. And starts suffocating Bryan Danielson.
Fucking never seen something like that. And it's really funny because on Twitter I was like, oh yeah, you suffocate Bryan Danielson with a plastic bag. How ironic. And I thought that was a really funny element I didn't even think about.
Oh yeah,
But
I didn't think about that either.
just never seen some shit like that, man. And I like how they set it up with Yuta too.
Yuta doesn't see what's happening because Pac still got the hug in. Yuta then turns around and Pac is holding him. Pac is holding him away, and Yuta is yelling at them like, no, what are you guys doing? Dude, they fucking choke out Bryan Danielson. They suffocate Bryan Danielson with a plastic bag. Yuta is crying at this point. Marina Shafir is out there. She's kicking away the security. Claudio's kicking away all the security. This group exits through the crowd. Wheeler Yuta, being the only one that remained loyal, he ran over to Bryan, immediately checked on Bryan as they're giving Bryan oxygen. I have to say,
Addicting.
they did a fucking phenomenal job here by
I like that
making
term.
this almost, again, this is a turn. This is something with the Blackpool Combat Club. Like I said, capitalize. If you want to break up the group, fine. But at least capitalize on it and make it interesting.
And they did. I was shocked they fucking did it. What were we saying for like 2 weeks straight, man? If you want to do this, we need to see, an actual turn. You can't
Yeah,
just ignore it. We got to see something. And they did it, and I like the way they did it. I was
yeah.
shocked by how they did it. I like it. I genuinely, I thought with how AEW booking worked, John Moxley was just about to start his own little separate thing and just damn near never mention the BCC
That's what I
until they
thought.
bring it up in some feud in like fucking 7 months. I genuinely thought that was what's gonna happen,
That's
and
exactly
we
what I
didn't.
thought too.
And we didn't. They came out here, and it was an actual turn. I like how Yuta wasn't involved in the turn. That means Bryan's gonna have. We already know one of the people that's gonna, back Bryan up, and whatever's gonna happen from here. Um, and I like it. I like what they did. I like how they did it. Guess, since Pac did that, I'm sure he's coordinated and on this new group. So I don't know if this new Mox group is going to take the BCC identity or if they're going to abandon it and maybe it's going to be, kept by Brian. Don't know how they're going to do this, the organization of what all this might be, man. But I like it and I'm fucking intrigued, man. I like what they did here.
Yes, absolutely. Loved, I love this. This was one of those moments where you see a group and, people kind of think it's a little silly. People don't like it. It almost reminds me of some of the moments that we've had throughout the summer with the Bloodline. Is they're one
Mm,
of these groups where, people think it's a little goofy, people kind of laugh at them, people kind of scoff at the new Bloodline, but then they take out Paul Heyman and it's like, whoa. It's one of those moments where it's just like, man, like these are some evil motherfuckers right here, man. Cause and then
mm-hmm.
with this, it was one of those turns where it almost, it almost put your stomach in knots, at least for me, because I was a big Blackpool Combat Club guy. Um, where I'm saying to myself, no, don't do it. And then he does it. And I'm like, ah, and it breaks your heart a little bit because now you know that the group is over. And then you see the heartbreak on Bryan's face. And then the way it was shot, all you see is John Moxley kind of grab a plastic bag and then you don't know what's going on. And he puts it over his
No.
head. And I'm saying, oh my God.
What the fuck?
And it's one of those moments like where the bloodline took out Paul Heyman where I'm saying to myself, it's just one of those like, whoa moments where it's just like, okay, now this group looks dastardly. Now they look
Mhm.
legit. Now they look like evil motherfuckers that need to be taken seriously. You know what I mean? And this is all I wanted. If you were gonna break up BCC, again, that's fine. If you think the group's ran its course again, you don't want it to go on too long before it, runs completely dry. That's fine. Whatever. At least tell a story behind it. And what they did here is that they told a story behind it, and that I can always appreciate. I can always appreciate them telling a story. And again, suffocating the man. I mean, that is extreme. That is dastardly. Now I'm hooked.
R Exactly. They committed a legit crime against this man. I like it. I like the violence, and I'm down for it. I'm intrigued to see where this goes next, man. I'm glad they twisted those expectations, man. I'm glad we got what we got.
Exactly. And like I said, man, this is just this is great stuff. The
Mhm.
only thing that worried me. So I like that Yuta stayed back, as I mentioned. That was one of the that was just one thing I loved. I loved Wheeler Yuta how he sold this. He's the only one that stayed loyal to Bryan. Who all walked off as a part of this group? Okay, we got Marina Shafir, we got John
Mhm.
Moxley, we have Claudio Castagnoli, and we have Neville, Pac. Where do all those people come from? Those people all come from WWE. I really hope this does not turn into an ex WWE disgruntled stable. Because again,
No,
unless next year in Forbidden Door you're going to hit us with WWE versus AEW Forbidden Door, there's no fucking payoff to doing an anti disgruntled ex WWE group.
no, it makes no sense.
That's
That
the
is a
only
very
thing that
scary.
scared me.
Like that is definitely a genuine fear to have with this company and this group, man. So really hope that doesn't happen, man. Because you got a good group lined up overall. So don't fuck it up by adding that weird ass element of, we're disgruntled because of this when really none of them besides, Pac have a reason to be disgruntled. I mean,
Yeah.
Mox is literally Tony Khan's ace. Claudio has been treated way better here than he ever has on the other side. Um, and Neville or Pac, obviously, if you I, fucking, he, goddamn, but he might have his reasons, but like other than that, they really don't have reasons to like, be disgruntled ex WWE guys. So, I really hope they don't go that route.
Absolutely. I hope they don't either. That was the only thing that scared me. Other than that, and obviously, other than the fact that, this better not be some sort of Shane McMahon led stable because all these guys standing behind Shane McMahon is going to look mad fucking goofy. Um,
It's just these fucking badasses, and then just Shane McMahon
oh my
in
God.
his fucking jersey, like bro.
Yeah, I don't that's not going to be a good look visually whatsoever. But other than that, dude, this was awesome. And again, I'm going to say it again, man. Now I'm hooked. Amazing job. I love the turn. I love what they did here. Good stuff overall. Very, very good stuff. And yeah, I enjoyed it, man. I really did.
Exactly. They took me for a turn. Didn't expect that, man. Really like it. Have my fears. Obviously, it's AEW, of course I do, but I'm overall excited and very intrigued to see how this goes.
Absolutely, man. And this is exactly the kind of cliffhanger type stuff you are going to want for Dynamite. So this is the
Hmm.
kind of stuff. This is the kind of stuff that we need, man. This is the kind of stuff that we need, bro. So yeah, man. But other than that, man, that was it for all that kind of stuff. And now we move on to the main event of the show. The all out main event, the lights out match, the lights out steel cage match between Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. Adam Page's new theme song has a lot of just aura behind it, and Vincent Padula did a great job at again just crafting out a theme song for Adam Page that is recognizable and it just fits the vibe.
Hmm. Yeah, like dark cowboy shit. I really dig it. I think it fits a great fucking vibe. And I love his evolved look. You talk about evolution.
Yeah.
I really like the evolution that Hangman went on. Obviously, when he was more babyface, he came out with, the light browns and whatnot, and he had the cleaner face. And now
Hmm.
I love the um, Magnum T. Fuck, I
Magnum
always forget.
TA.
TA. I always try to say Magnum PI, like what he was based off of, but Magnum TA. I like that very inspired look. I like the black leather. I think it's a great evolution of his look and character.
I love one of my favorite things about this new Hangman look is the beard. I
Oh,
love how he looks with the beard with the thick mustache. That's a great
dude,
look.
it's a fucking phenomenal look for him, dude. It's my favorite look for him easily.
Uh, I yeah, I would say. I would say.
It's fucking phenomenal look, man. Man, the only thing I know, they can't do it because they're actually on television nowadays. So American TV would never allow that, man. But like a lot of people always say it, and I really do miss it. The rope. I wish he could still wear the rope,
Oh,
dude.
he
Oh,
would
the
look
rope would look
badass
so.
with the noose, bro.
He would be so fucking sick. I know you can't do it because it's television. There's
Yeah.
certain things that would just never fly. But that shit would just complete the fucking look, man. But other than that,
I wonder if they
that
would be able to do something that's not a noose though. Maybe a different kind
maybe
of knot. I would. I
I,
mean,
I'm sure they can find a way around it. Do something. But like, man, but other than that, look, evolution, fucking phenomenal, dude.
yeah.
Favorite.
Our TV's so stupid. Yo, I hate
Dude,
it, dude. So
all the
pointless.
little rules. Like how damn near Joey Janela never worked out because he couldn't smoke on TV. That's genuinely one of the main reasons why he didn't work out, visually on television.
Yeah.
You'd always see him in, indie clips and his indie promos, smoking a cigarette and shit. Couldn't do that in fucking W and not in W. What am I talking about?
So
On just,
stupid.
American television. Chris Jericho almost got lost their TV deal for over a cigar.
But
It's just little shit.
yeah, but when basketball teams win the NBA finals, they're covering it and all the guys are in the locker room cracking champagne and smoking their cigars, but nobody says anything about that.
Like they play fucking Sopranos that have fucking cigars and shit.
Like
And
what?
like I don't understand. Dude, which from what I've observed, and I think what it is since it's live, you really can't do that shit. If it's like a playback of like a show or something, you could do it. But like the NBA does it, so
Doesn't
I
make
don't fucking understand
any kind
American
of
television.
sense, bro.
I really don't. I don't get that generation, especially because the generation that like modifies, moderates all that stuff, are the ones that kind of, made that shit.
Yeah.
Like I don't, I have no fucking clue why American television is the way it is.
Yeah, man, but yeah, but this like I and like you were saying, I love the black jeans with the light
Hmm.
boots and the kind of the black leather type look for Adam Page, and again, the beard, the mustache, bro. It
So
looks
badass,
it
dude.
looks it looks very cool. It looks very
Hmm.
cool on him, and yeah, I like it a lot, man. I like it a lot. It's a great look. It's a very
It
good
is.
look. And um, man, I knew we
Utterly.
were in for some shit, but
Hmm.
oh god, my mind keeps replaying back to the one spot, and I think you guys all know what spot I'm talking about, but we'll get to it in just a second, man. But man, I mean, it was this was a main event for the ages, and 3 years after we found out, 2 years after we found out that Adam Page was an empty-headed fucking dumb fuck. Um,
Goated.
2 years later, he's on the show, and he, like I said in my tweet, this was an AEW classic. This was an all-time AEW classic, and I enjoyed this, man. Man, I mean that Adam Page is a fucking superstar, bro. I know he gets a lot of flack for not taking advice and whatever, but honestly, bro, the guy's a star. He doesn't need to take advice, and it's nowhere in his fucking contractual deal where it says he needs to take advice from people. So at the end of the
Exactly.
day, you can hate it all you want, but dude, this guy's a stud.
He's phenomenal. Everything. He's got it all, man. The look, the vibe, the promo, the in-ring skill. He's got it all. The move set that's cool and unique. I mean, he made the Buckshot Lariat, and so many other people use it nowadays. And I'm not one of those people that is ever gonna complain like, oh, you stole Blink's move, because at the end of the day, everyone steals everybody's moves.
Yeah,
That's just how the business works.
it's wrestling.
But he popularized the move, and I mean that in every complimentary way, man. And
What move are you talking
he's
about?
got it all. The buckshot, the
Who do you take
buckshot.
that from?
No, I'm saying like he is the one that popularized it,
Oh,
and other
gotcha.
people took it from him.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
He
beautiful. He's the only one that
and
can
he's
land on his feet. Well, I guess Logan Paul. That was supposed to
Logan.
be a CM Punk dig, but I forgot Logan Paul almost perfected it every time.
I was gonna say everybody but CM Punk lands on their feet, so he oh, that was kind of sad. Man tried it twice and just fell on his ass.
That was bad.
Fucking goated
Like, bro,
shit,
just do
dude.
the dead eye. You can't do this
Bro,
move.
you're too no, and you're just too old, dog. I mean that in the most respectful way. But yeah, man. It's what, and I had always had one of those mentalities, man. Especially when it was, that was in the news at the time, man. If someone's not taking your advice, they're either, good enough to where, you know, they're taking it on the chin. They're not going to take your advice because they're doing fine on their own, man. And at the end of the day, I don't think, if you're giving advice and they don't take it, you should really trip out, because at the end of the day, if they don't take it and they fail, that's the lesson. That's the lesson they learned. They should have took the advice. They had to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
Oh well, Hangman didn't have to learn the hard way. I mean, I think everything worked out for him. I mean, he was called an empty-headed fucking dumb fuck live on a broadcast. So maybe that was his fucking payback for all, not taking advice. But it's one of those things where sometimes people can just, move to the beat of their own drum, man, and you can't dictate what they, what beat they make, man. And sometimes you can, sometimes you're right, and sometimes you're wrong, man. I think that's the case where other people were wrong with Hangman, because he's doing phenomenal, man. He's still one of the best parts about AEW. Probably, I would say Tony and Mariah stuff was really good, but I still might say, feud of the year for AEW so far. Again, still at the top, dude.
No, absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's been a tremendous feud. It's definitely been one of AEW's best feuds throughout the year, yeah,
Oh yeah,
throughout this year. And yeah, man. I mean, he again. I mean, you can say whatever you want about the guy, but he turned out to be an absolute stud for the company, and he turned out to again, I mean, Adam Page has always been great. I don't know why, I
yeah, the
understand,
doubters.
he went. I understand he did some stuff that necessarily wasn't okay with Mr. Phil Brooks, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, and I'm glad that he's moved on, and I'm glad that he isn't using CM Punk as a main drive behind his heel turn. He
Yeah, as a
actually
in
uh
company reason.
yes, exactly. Exactly. But yeah, man. So Adam Page, bro, he's a fucking stud, man. We've been saying it since the start of AEW, but he
Literally.
turned out to be everything but a fucking empty-headed fucking dumb fuck. So
I know, people really don't put him as a pillar because, technically, he's elite,
he's like a
so he helps,
grandfather. Yeah.
but like, dude, the company wouldn't be the same without him. I think he
No.
more than qualifies as a pillar. So I see him as one of their main pillars, man. I think he's embedded in their foundation, man. He's that fucking
Yeah.
special to this company.
That's what I would classify him as. I wouldn't classify him as a pillar. I think he's more important than a pillar. I get what you're saying, but to me, Adam Page is among the foundations of
Hmm.
AEW because when MJF's talking about pillars, I think what he's mainly talking about is like the younger homegrown
Yeah.
AEW guys, the guys that didn't come in as stars. But then when I look at what's more important than a pillar, it's the foundation. The foundation of
Hmm.
AEW, it's Kenny, it's Matt, it's Nick, it's Cody, it's Page, it's Jericho, it's those guys, you know what I mean? And Adam
Yeah.
Page, I mean, he's the company again, like you said, and a lot of people call him, a lot of people have christened him with this nickname, and it's so true. A lot of people call him the main character of AEW,
He
and
is.
he is.
He really is the main character, dude. He's like, the shows had like the 4, 5 main characters. He's that man. He's a
Yeah,
part of their core fucking people
yeah,
on the show.
absolutely, absolutely. He's a superstar, bro. He's a superstar, and and I all of you guys love Swerve Strickland, and I love Swerve Strickland. At the end of the day, Swerve Strickland wouldn't be as big as he is, and Swerve Strickland wouldn't be a superstar if it wasn't for Adam Page. That's
Their their fucking success goes hand in hand. His Adam Page's heel turn and Swerve's come up is so linked. It's crazy.
yeah, it is.
They needed each other.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. It's one of those things where you can't talk about one guy's career without talking about the others.
Hmm.
So, the cage was modified. You know how AEW does that big cage and it comes down and it hits the floor? You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
you can kind of like fall out of the cage, which looks visually weird as hell.
yeah, it was.
AEW, me too. AEW did the smart thing and they had the cage come down and rest on the ring apron.
They
Nice.
did. And not only that, I don't know if you noticed like the lights that they were in like embedded in the structure of the cage that I'm sure were to give
Yes.
light to the ring, but dude, that gave like such like a prison vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I actually really dig the fucking lights. I hope they keep those in there.
I loved what they did with the steel cage tonight. So the match gets
Hmm.
started as Swerve is wearing gear that has the image of Adam Page sitting in front of the burnt down house.
Hmm.
So you knew he. Oh, dude, and Adam Page coming out in that thick puff of smoke, dude,
Oh,
that was
so
badass,
sick.
bro.
Badass as fuck. I loved it.
So so um the match they start fighting before the match gets underway. They start fighting before the match gets underway. Swerve is choking Hangman, and Hangman and Swerve are choking each other, trying to get each other's heads under where the cage comes down because they wanted to get the cage to fall on each other's heads and choke them to death. Um
Right.
Nana ends up pushing both of them in the cage because they were in the position to both get choked out and die right before all of our very eyes. So Nana saved Swerve, and he saved again the Swerve and Hangman choking each other to death. He pushed both of them in the ring actually. Um, Page very early on gets a Home Depot tote, and he opens it up and he gets his staple gun and starts stapling Swerve's chest. Swerve eats it. He then takes the staple gun and he grabs Adam Page by the neck in like a sleeper hold position and just starts lighting his fucking back up. Boom, 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 boom. And you just see Page just squirreling out for help. Um, Adam Page would then bring out the barbed wire. He would then rub it across Swerve's head, embed it in the cage, and start dragging Swerve's face all on the cage, just cheese grating this man's forehead on the cage. A little bit
He was
later in the
cheesing,
match,
bro.
he was, bro. A little bit later in the match, Swerve lawn darts Adam Page's head into a chair that was wedged in between the ropes. Dude, Swerve hit a vertebraker on Adam Page on a cinder block. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this cinder block's probably going to crumble. It's probably a fake cinder block.
Not an ounce of give, dude. Not an
Oh,
ounce. Oh,
bro.
duh.
Did you see Adam Page's back?
Just scraped.
Oh,
Looks like he was a kid on his bike and he just fucking flew like fucking 10 feet down on some asphalt and fucking
dude.
burned back up.
I
Brutal.
I used to wipe out a lot on my bike when I was a kid, and I know how those concrete scuffs hurt. And when I seen Paige's back, that gave me so much PTSD to when I was like the ages from like 8 to 14 because oh my god, that looked oh god, that I wouldn't wish those scrapes upon my worst enemy. Well, maybe some people, but oh
Oh
my
yeah, some
god,
people do.
dude. Oh, eh. Swerve then hit a swerve stomp through a table that Nana put in the ring before the cage came down. Adam Page then pulls out a splinter. He pulls out a burnt piece of wood from Swerve's house, and Swerve then hit him with a house call, grabbed the splinter, and started stabbing Page in the forehead with it. Oh, brother.
Oh, brutal, dude. He was just fucking stabbing
Oh,
away, dude.
God.
Brutal. And it's really cool because obviously Swerve is like a fast person. You know, he just moves fast.
Hmm.
So whether he's hitting the staple gun or doing the stabbing with the stake, it's just as fast as he's hitting he's hitting his finisher. So he's just fucking just like stabbing the fuck out of him. Rapid shots, dude. It looks great.
Yeah. Yeah, oh man, it was nasty, bro. So Swerve gets done stabbing Page, obliterating him with the splinter, and he has the splinter in his hand and he starts crying because he's thinking about his house. He's thinking about his childhood house and he's thinking about, how bro just burnt it down. Hangman takes advantage of this, and as Swerve is crying, he low blows Swerve, power bombs Swerve Strickland on the cinder block, lower back first.
Bent. His bro, when he hit that shit, his
Oh,
back was bent. Oh, it was
oh,
brutal.
that was
Fuck
brutal as
that.
fuck.
Hmm.
Then JR, to take an intermission from how great this match was, this
Oh,
man JR on commentary, this is one of the dumbest things, and it makes me think to myself, why the fuck would you ever think this is okay to say? For the sake of kayfabe, and I know kayfabe's dead, but this is a different level of why would you say that? He says, imagine Tony wants to do another lights out steel cage match, and the guys he wants to get to participate in it say no because they see this one.
dude, I picked that up too. He said that twice. He said like a variation of that twice. And I was like, bro, why are you bringing this up? Why are you trying to say this? What did he say earlier? It was oh yeah, it was something along the lines of probably not gonna get another lights out match anytime soon after this one. Dog, dude, why?
You're supposed to give off the vibe as if Swerve. You're giving. You're not supposed to give off the vibe of Swerve and Hangman were asked by
In the
Tony
back,
Khan, "Come on, guys, please do a lights out match for me. Please do a light." You're supposed to give off the vibe that these two hate each other so much they're willing to go to this depth. This isn't a participate. This isn't like the teacher calling fucking two students up to the board to fucking solve the math problem. Who wants to participate? All right, you and you come up here and do the math problem. No.
like, no. What do you mean pitching the match, bro? It's storyline. They both want to kill each other, so they agreed to this match. What are you talking about Tony Khan for?
What? Come on,
Did
man.
it that He did it twice in the match, and I hated it.
This was just fucking. This was unreasonably fucking stupid for him to say. I mean,
Very.
don't act like
Like,
Tony put the match together. I mean, we all know it, but give it off as Hangman and Swerve wanted this, not Tony Khan. Like, what? Come
dog.
on.
Lights out match isn't something the company does. It's something that two people that hate each other do. Literally, the whole point is that the company isn't responsible. Technically, it's not like on air anymore. That's why the lights out, which was something I kind of just realized, the lights out match is a lot of times the main event because technically the show is over. This doesn't count towards the show
Yeah,
because it's just two people using this arena to fight. That's what it is. Why would you bring Tony Khan into it?
yeah. 100%. 100%, bro. Yeah, and again, the whole vibe is that the company doesn't want to do this. So why are you giving me a vibe? Why are you telling me the next time Tony asks two people if they want to do a lights out match? What?
Fucking
Come on,
idiotic.
man.
Oh, dude.
Hangman gave a power bomb to Swerve Strickland off the top rope. He would then end up hitting Swerve Strickland with a dead eye. Swerve would kick out of it. Hangman is then driving the edge of the chair into Swerve's face over and over. He's repeatedly just bashing him in the face with it. He's bashing him in the face with the chair. And he's yelling at Swerve to beg for mercy. Nana's on the outside calling Hangman a stupid idiot. He's calling him idiotic. Hangman Swerve starts laughing. Ugh. Ah, God, I'm getting chills, bro. Hangman pulls Swerve's grill out of his mouth. He goes over to his tote, grabs a hypodermic needle,
Oh,
and sticks
uh-uh.
it through Swerve's fucking cheek.
Fucking insane, dude. He pulled it out
Mm.
and then he fucking like opened it, with his teeth. And I
Oh,
was like, dude, there's no way this is about to go down. He's about to counter and do something and it's gonna end some way.
oh,
And no, they did it. He just fucking stabbed it right through his cheek, man.
oh,
Fucking. And what I thought he was gonna do is he just like stick it in the roof of his mouth and just like kind of like poke him a bunch. No, he just stabbed it through his fucking cheek.
oof. That
Fucking
was
in.
nasty, bro. That was,
Oh,
dude. They
brutal.
they always do some crazy shit, man, in their matches. If I could think back to their Full Gear match, the what was that? The Texas Death Match, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I think about Hangman, choking Swerve, and I think about them, stapling each other's faces. And all I'm gonna think about for this match is this man Adam Page pulling out a fucking needle and stabbing Swerve in the cheek with it. And
Oh,
then
dude.
oh my god, that was just ugh, that was unsettling. Grabs a ch- chair to the head. Obviously, you could tell it was a little rigged because like the seat of the chair broke,
Just like pulls
to
it up
yeah, to make it
decently.
to make it safe. And at this point, Swerve didn't get pinned. Swerve didn't tap out. The ref fucking called the match off.
Beautiful. Beautiful fucking ending, man. Loved it. Loved the way they did it. There was another call early on tonight by JR. It was like halfway through the match, where he was like, where he mentioned, the ref should just make the call to end the match. He's like, man, this is so brutal. I know the fans wouldn't like it, but the ref should just end the match right here, right now. It's just too dangerous. Like, God, stop killing the gimmick, dude. Um, but love the ending, love the call. I like how they did that. How it was a ref that was like done. The only moment I didn't really like in the match, um, was the part with the ref where Hangman had the steel chair and the ref took it from him and he was like arguing with him and he was like telling him to pick back up the chair but he didn't allow him to use it. And then it was the most obvious thing ever. He literally stood back up to let fucking Swerve jump off his back. That was the only part of the match where I
Yeah,
did not really like it, and I was kind of like, "What are you doing here, ref?"
yeah.
Um, Other than that, dude, fucking phenomenal. The vibe from entrance to fucking fade away from the show, phenomenal, man. Um, the way they just wanted to kill each other, man, and they basically did just that, man. From fucking what probably might be genuine cinder blocks, I wouldn't
Oh,
doubt it. To fucking staple guns to hypodermic needles. Oh, dude, fucking brutal.
oof.
Those needles always fight, bro. Needles always fuck with me because if you ever seen the second Saw movie, there's a part of that movie where there's just a pit of used needles that someone gets thrown into. I just thought of that during this part, and it was just fucking brutal. It took me back to that scene. Love the movie, but fucking brutal shit, dude.
That's
And
it. That's the thing too. Out of my family. I don't mean to put
yeah,
I don't mean to put her on blast here, but my sister is the one that was like deathly afraid of needles. I was
oh
never.
yeah,
I was never.
no, no, same.
But this still just like, oh god, just seeing
Because
him, oh man.
Because like this year, obviously, you guys know with hernia, a lot of medical stuff, a lot of just random, drawing blood for this, that. Didn't flinch. It is
Mm-hmm.
what it is.
Yeah.
I'm very intrigued to ever, even get a tattoo because I'm curious to see how it feels because, I don't really, I'm not scared of needles. I was literally looking like through one time for one of the things they had to take like a bunch of blood. And I was just looking at it the whole down time, looking down at it. You could see that thing in your vein. Wasn't tripping at all, man. But like shit like this, brutal, dude. We did not expect that. Even if he did do what I thought he was gonna do, which was just stab him in the roof of his mouth a couple times, that would have been brutal. But the stab through the cheek, dude.
Ugh.
Oh, fucking insane.
Oh god, it was very unsettling. The ref, I know this is a lights out match, and the ref did call it off, but at the end of the day, I think of, stipulation matches getting called off, and I obviously think of the infamous Hell in a Cell with The Fiend and Seth Rollins, but
Oh, son
it
of.
it wasn't to that degree
Right.
at all,
Yeah.
because the thing about that match was the Fiend's head was like covered by like 60 different weapons, and Rollins just hit all the weapons with a sledgehammer, and even though again he had like 60 things on top of his head, and they called the match. But in this case, I don't blame the ref. This dude just got stabbed with a fucking needle, and
Hmm.
then
And
hitting the chair with a head, or what? Hitting the head with a chair. So I don't blame him at all. So it definitely didn't. It definitely wasn't as bad, but not by any stretch of the imagination as the infamous Hell in a Cell.
no, not at all. And the only time I got a flashback to that was when JR gave that shitty call
Yeah,
about ending the match early. But the ending itself, I was completely fine with. At the end of the day, it is a form of a match, and the second the bell rings, you're kind of done with the guy. And anyways, after he hit that chair shot, Swerve was down anyway. So that's kind of a
and
point in a fight where you just probably walk away anyway, and you're done with them. You kill them, you're done.
they did mention in the match too. It can end by pinfall,
Right.
submission, or knockout,
Mm-hmm.
and
And
Swerve
he
was
technically,
done.
yeah, he was most definitely knocked out, technically.
Yeah,
So, like I said, even in a way, even in like an actual altercation, which is, what this type of match is portrayed to be. Second, someone's just down like that, that's the point where you won, time to leave. And I think it would have been, the mentality of, Hangman Page and that way anyway. He's knocked to the ground, he's out, he's snoozing, you won. And bless you. And
thank you.
I love the ending. I think the ending worked for me. I,
It
I,
did.
I haven't so far. I'm sure people will complain about that ending at least a tad bit. But I liked it.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure they will. They're always going to complain about something. Hangman is walking away, and Nana's in the ring checking on Swerve, and this man goes to come back down to the ring, and lo and behold, Adam Page stopped himself.
I like that. I like it because then right after that he celebrates. He marks out for himself after what he did,
Hmm.
and I think him stopping was a realization like, damn, I actually won. The man's out there like
Yeah,
dead. I actually won this time, and I think that's why he stopped. And I like that detail a lot. I thought that was really cool.
definitely. And it was a little bit of maybe there was the maybe whether it was it was a definitely a tiny hint of it, but there could have been, dare I say, there could have been a tiny bit, and he ignored it,
Or,
of
hmm.
the old Adam Page
Yeah.
that knows that this was too far
Yeah.
and that he went
Oh
too
yeah.
far. But then he snapped right back into his deranged mental state and started marking out for himself. So, um, this was an
Like
all
most.
yeah, this was an all-time AEW classic. This is going to be a timeless AEW classic, and this is going to be this is one of the best feuds in AEW history. This is up there with CM Punk and MJF in terms
Hmm.
of great feuds in AEW, and this is this is fantastic. This was fantastic. Again, man, this was an all-time AEW classic, and I love this match. This is, we talked about it, a nominee, or at least an honorable mention for a nominee in Pac and Will Ospreay. Dare I say, this
Another one.
is another one right here. Wow, just absolutely tremendous stuff here. And again, this is going to forever be a timeless AEW classic, man. But I love this main event.
I did. I did. It was phenomenal main event. I always say it, AEW does great in these type of brutal ass bloody matches. And they did, and this is another one that's fucking great. You had were basically, I would say three match of the year nominees in the span of 3 weeks. Impressive. Great to see, man. And I love what we got here, man. And it's going to be a tough call this year, calling match of the year, man. It's going to be a real tough year-end awards to get through.
Yes. Yeah, it is going to be very tough. It is going to be very tough. Exactly, man. And no, I mean God, I mean, yeah, we've got a lot of good quality stuff to go over this year, man. So I'm gonna have to go update the year end award list. But man, I mean it's tough, bro. It's very tough. And they're not making it any easier on us, man. So yeah, bro, but that is everything, man. That is everything, and that is it for your all out review. As yes, Hangman and Swerve genuinely put on a timeless classic here today that people will go back and rewatch for years and years and years to come. And this was absolutely tremendous. This was phenomenal. This was phenomenally done. I love this. Absolutely tenfold, bro. This was incredible. This was incredible. As well as the show. Like I said, I wasn't too into the Mercedes and the um Continental Four Way. That's where the show kind of took a dip for me. But other than that, I thought the show was very enjoyable, and I thought the show was very very fun.
Definitely, man. I thought they pulled out a good show tonight, man. Um, didn't have a great one going in, in my opinion, coming into
Mhm.
the pay-per-view, but during the pay-per-view, did a great job. Obviously, like you said, I gotta agree that middle two matches of the show were not my cup of tea, man. But other than that, it was a really good fucking show, man. They had great matches, great stories, surprising moments. They did good
Yep.
tonight, man. They did good.
Yes, they absolutely did. Now, we'll all just have to see how they follow this up on Wednesday, man. But
That's the fucking question.
yeah, and
Look what happened with All In.
isn't that quite the task for Tony Khan sometimes? Um, yeah, man.
Fuck,
So that
man.
is gonna do it for this edition for the Notorious Hills podcast. Another edition of your post-show review. This time, obviously, your AEW post-show review. And with that, man, that is everything, and that is gonna do it, man, for this edition of NHP, another edition of your AEW post show review, man. The next time you guys will be catching us live with the post show review, like I said, we'll be in a little under a month with WWE's Bad Blood October 5th. So catch us then for the post show reviews. But with that, that is going to do it for everything we got here today for you guys, man, for the all out review. Fantastic show. Let's just hope they follow it up. And that is the task, bro. But yeah, man, with that, that is
Mhm.
going to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for joining us, man. Naysayers, Logan, Durante, Tyler Helton, bro, what up, man?
How you
Sorry,
doing, man?
we were knee deep in the Swerve and Hangman stuff. What up, bro? Thank you for tuning in, man. Appreciate it, man. How are you doing, bro? But yes, and thank you guys for all who came out, man. Thank you guys, as always, bro. With that, that is gonna do it for another edition of NHP, another edition for your AEW post show reviews. And I'm glad we did it, man. So, with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so very much. With that, it's been always a pleasure for my Johnny.
And Sir K.
And that is going to do it for your AEW NHP All Out 2024 official show review. Thank you guys so very much for joining us. Thank you guys so much. We love you guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you all on Monday after Monday Night Raw for Unscripted.
Peace.